But I think the more shocking stat for me going into this series was that the last time that these two met in a grand finals, despite all their success in competitive AOE 4, was May 29, 2022, in the first round of Golden League. So, yeah, despite the fact that both of these players are very, very accomplished in AOE 4, they actually rarely meet in grand finals.
That's true. And Winston, when they do meet, it's got to be said, it's viciously favorable towards MarineLorD. 70% win rate overall. In the last 8 times they've met in the last year, Beasty has only ever won one of those matches.
Yeah, and I think that's more of a story. I don't think it really matters who exactly you put in that second player slot. I think that's just MarineLorD stats in general look like this, right? I think Beasty is definitely one of the best to compete against him, but it's super tough, right? I mean, we've got these two amazing showmen, amazing games are going to be coming our way, but I feel like almost already everyone just has to kind of feel a bit tense, right? It feels like BC has a bit of an uphill battle to climb here. MarineLorD has looked so dominant this entire tournament, only dropping 2 games to Vortex, and those were on like water maps, right? Like where Vortex is a god, right? So it's tricky. I mean, I think Beastie in a best of 9 it gets hard, I feel like, because it means that the draft has to go well, right? This is something that we don't talk about a ton, but the longer the sets go, it feels like the more important this draft is. And we're kind of watching it unfold right now as the players pick the maps. But I think the Civ draft here, it's going to be pretty cutthroat about who gets what and how this pans out. I think these bans have to be on point, right?
Yeah. And folks, I know what you're thinking. Whoa, that map draft by Surfshark. It wasn't enough that you're giving that the good deal. Apparently, they give you too many maps. No, no, no. Don't worry. We have redrafts if we go deep enough. Of course, we will with the best of 9 go deep enough for one redraft. But let's talk a little bit about these maps, Litter, because this is something that's interesting. As Beastie, I don't know if he's baiting us, but he keeps saying that he doesn't feel like he's had enough time to scrim. On the other side, you've got MarineLorD, who you never know really how much time he's spent scrimming, as he doesn't tend to publicize any of it whatsoever.
The thing is, KP, is that when you go into esports or when you go into any kind of a competitive environment, no one cares how much you practice or how hard you work. Winning or losing comes down to you being the better player at that moment. So, ironically, as much as we kind of highlight, okay, he might not have the time to prepare that much. It's gonna come down to whoever is better of these two. So I think, especially between these two players, the amount of preparation they did is of a secondary significance. If there's anything that I would want to highlight preparation-wise, it's probably the Civ draft. How you play these maps, it's fairly established. I'll be surprised if either of these players brought up any like very weird and unique approaches to either of these maps. So I think it's going to come down to execution and the position that they put themselves in terms of civilization picks, in terms of reserve civilizations held for later games. I think that's what will decide who's going to come out victorious in this series.
Now, there was an interesting part yesterday during the Beastie versus Lucifron series, Winston, where MarineLorD bluntly said in chat, I think Beastie is valuing Byzantines too highly on this current map pool. Do we see enough variants, enough options here that the Byzantines do feel like a busted pick? Or is MarineLorD's statement going to hold true?
I mean, I certainly think the Civ is too flexible to discount, right? I think on almost every land map, it has a place, right? So I don't think it's really fair to even say, oh, I can't consider it when there are several pure land maps here, and a lot of the best civs are good on both, right? Whereas Byzantines really just shine on land, right? So it feels like it would be not a high prio pick for me in this series, given the state of things, but probably would still pick it before the end of the draft, right? I'd pick it over several other land civs like French or Jean, right? For as an example, right?
And I'm just looking at some stats related to this. We now have a worst map. I'm sorry, no one wants it. It's only been played twice in this tournament. Migration is now the least picked map in the entire tournament. Holy Island just bumped one up. But I would be remiss, Litter, if we didn't throw some shade rather across a cow. Water Drake still now down there, second from last, with only 3 times being played. Oh, there I go. Down to Water Drake. Someone has to go play it.
Come on,
Every
first
single
NA.
time every single time that they play Migration, which is one of my more beloved maps, every single time it's played, I'm not on a broadcast. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to finish this tournament with not a single game having been cast on Migration. But hey, we do have probably my favorite map of the tournament moving out on the list. We do have Socotra as well. So two truly chaotic maps available out there. A classic competitive map, Holy Islands. Of course, when it comes to the open map category, we do have two classics as well, Dry Arabia, and essentially a mini Dry Arabia, Coastal Cliffs. Old school, closed map, Hill and Dale. And then when you look at the hybrids, you do have some interesting storylines to tell about those two maps, specifically Four Lakes.
Yeah, the interesting one to me actually is I want to go to floodplain here, Winston, because I feel like that's a map that we start to see a decent amount of at the beginning of the tournament. Players were practicing it, but it hasn't been picked since. It has 3 picks. I think it has actually 5 picks, 3 plays overall in the tournament, and I don't think we've seen it at all in playoffs.
I wonder if there might be some strategy here that I miss behind the scenes of how players look at the draft and think about it. So that can be my only guess, is that they feel that it's too much of a risk to pick because you could potentially screw your own Civ draft from it, right? It could just be too much of one of the things, right? It could just over prioritize maybe like Malians or some other of these civs, which can do some weird transport cheese. We've seen some crazy stuff happen on these maps where maybe that unpredictability is viewed as risk from players. And you know that in a pro setting, in these esports settings, you have to focus on like minimizing risk, right? And so I think that's why maps like Water Drake and Floodplains didn't get a lot of play over the course of the tournament, and I'm not surprised that we're not seeing it here, because who wants to do a big risky move here when you could win it all with standard play? Something I would point out though is that Beasty was able to pick up China here. So
Yes.
MarineLorD prioritized banning Rus. MarineLorD let Beasty let MarineLorD have Rus, but on the inverse, MarineLorD gave Beasty China, which I think both players might be kind of happy about that. But maybe Beasty got a bit better there.
It was an interesting one because now the Byzantine ban is where he potentially gets better. Because actually, of the most banned civs, Zhuji, by far the most banned, 42 bans so far in this tournament. But the next ones are quite close. China in second with 36, and then Rus in third with 29. But, Rus, Byzantines, both of those high up there on the ban rates. I think Lidical, we already been highlighting with the Byzantines. The question has to be asked, does it have enough variance? Is it potent enough? Do we feel the same about Rus now? Like, if it's not China and Juji, does it feel busted with this map pool?
It's always a tough one to ask, so I'm going to leave that for open discussion once we get deeper into the series. I really feel like this series could hold some very interesting matches in terms of the civilization balance. And, maybe we think one way about a civilization, but we're going to see the direct opposite in this series. So, yeah, let's just leave that for a slightly later discussion.
Well, we hopefully will get to have plenty of discussions. I mean, the nice thing that I love about this is, like, I'm looking at the map pool and I'm thinking the balance of it. And even though there's some concerns around how much scrimming Beasty's been able to do, Winston, there's a lot of familiar maps we know he can dominate on, right? Like Dry Arabia, Coastal Cliffs, Hill and Dale, all in there. Of course, Four Lakes on the ladder, something would have grinded a lot. Even Holy Island, a familiar sight. When you consider there's so much water in this map pool still, though, with what? 4 direct conflict maps, and then a 5th that is a hybrid of Four Lakes. Do you favor MarineLorD or Beasty here, or do you think that on the water level they're on par?
I think generally I haven't seen either player have a huge standout difference on water, truthfully. I think a lot of their matchups haven't been on these high water, like in water tournaments. We don't get this much water in many tournaments, I would say. This is definitely on the higher end, right? So it's definitely where we're going to learn, I think, right? This is where we're going to find out, you know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see that. I would probably give a slight edge to MarineLorD naturally, but honestly, I thought Beasty played all the water maps really well, right? Both yesterday and last week. I think he's just been playing it really well. He had some really good games. Some of them were kind of clutch moments where, I think it was against Kiljardy where he was basically losing a game, but then had really clutch demos, just really good micro, right? And then we had that crazy game yesterday, right? Where Beasty played, what was that, 50-minute feudal?
Something like that is insane, right?
something like
Against
that, right?
Lucifron of all people as well, right? Which is
Yeah,
no
right.
small feat. But
Yeah, I just
draft's complete now, and yep. Something I've been noticing a lot of here, Lidicor, is the Ottomans always being slipped in there. I'm wondering if there's like something we as a community have been sleeping on here, because we know the imp is busted, but with the current meta focusing around feudal and castle, I've been a bit surprised at how often Ottomans is being drafted.
It's always a bit of a wild card for open maps like Dry Arabia or Coastal Cliffs, dare I say something like Socotra. So we should never sleep on Ottomans. It's a powerful land-based civilization. It's not impossible that we're going to see it on a map like Hill and Dale, for instance, even. That's, I think, one of the more underrated Hill and Dale civilizations. I think it's more about the fact that it does have a lot of value, and a lot of the civilizations that you would consider to be pretty good on pure land maps, they also slot in well into these hybrid and water maps. So you're trying to get something that's like a clear land-based civilization as kind of a fallback option if you have to play it that way. I do remember it's also something that I guess you can try using on a map like Islands. It could be your throwaway civilization in a way. Demu did that, I think, in one of the Archipelago games he played. He played Ottomans. It was against Cat, I do believe. And after the series, he basically said, listen, I just didn't have any good civilizations to play in there. So might as well give this a go. It's a bit of a throwaway civ. But if you end up winning with it, you've just used one of your lower end civilizations to take out one of the better civs of the opponent, potentially.
Do you think maybe it's also that it hasn't been like locked in, Winston, right? Like, you know, the Ottomans, because of the drastic nerfs, it feels like people are still scrambling to find the new build. Maybe that offers a slight edge, right? Like if you think of Order of the Dragons usually cropping up in these water maps, unexplored territory, if you will, that kind of gives a value in uncharted territory, right?
I think the reason why Ottomans are valued here by MarineLorD is just because they're just generically flexible, and there's a lot of maps, right? We've seen players even be able to play them on Archipelago to moderate success, right? In Demu, right? It's not like the craziest best pick, but in a long series like this, sometimes your draft has to get stretched a bit thin. You can't always put the best civ in the best spot. So I think that's why. I think it's just generally flexible. Its land play is always good, and the matchups there are never like so bad that it's just insta GG in a certain matchup. I feel like, right? So that's kind of why I think we see Ottomans like always consistently at the bottom of the draft. A bit like Jean, right? Where it's like it comes into the draft, but does it get played, right?
Yeah.
Often not, right?
Yeah, it's almost like you use it as a block pick, I guess you could say. Like, for example, Joan, if your opponent has Delhi, kind of keeps them away. But, you know, draft's complete, boys. We've got to focus on this opening map. Dry Arabia coming. Is there, yeah, I was about to say, it has to be Byzantines, right? But I wondered, was Beasty going to attempt the English? Instead, we're going to be seeing what's kind of becoming a classic at the moment, right? Byzantines versus Iabids. One interesting thing to think about here, Litter, I believe this is meant to be seen as Iabid favored, but Anatan had a pretty crafty neutral trade post build that started to convince us otherwise. It was in that Vortex Anatan series back in the group stage.
Honestly, KP, we could talk about the civilizations here, but there's a better stat to be had for this map in
He's
particular.
popping them out.
Yep. MarineLorD is the only player in this tournament who is undefeated on Dry Arabia. So, you know, you could see the Iabids being the favorite civilization, but at the same time, you do have someone like MarineLorD out there with the Byzantines, and he is yet to be beaten on a map like Dry Arabia.
Now, I'm going to top those stats. You ready for this? This is a good one. So you are correct. The MarineLorD is unbeaten there, but he is also unbeaten on Socotra. He's unbeaten on moving out. He's unbeaten on Hill and Dale. He's unbeaten on Migration. He's unbeaten on Kawasan. He's unbeaten on Holy Island. He's unbeaten on Coast. Do I need to keep going? This guy has only dropped 2 games in this entire tournament so
far. Does it end?
Winston, give me something nice about Beasty here. What's our Serb got going for him?
He's extremely good at defending, right? Which is something I think he's going to have to use in these games, right? I think MarineLorD has just been really clean. And I think if Beasty has a chance to win this, it's going to be by leveraging his strengths, siege, defense. sneaky plays, long games, right? That's one of his strong suits, right? And want to see if MarineLorD is prepared to deal with all of Beasty's shenanigans, right? Because he's in a lot of ways he can do unconventional things. He just does them at such a high level that it works. Against MarineLorD, though, I feel like you get just such solid strategy, such calculated draft, such precise macro that it feels really hard to catch him with these tricks. So, you know, BC might not be as undefeated on that many maps, but he's here in the finals, right? He made it, right? He got there. And I think that's what's really important. Like individual maps can come down to, you know, the draft. You can come down to the player, the play style, the day of the week, you know, how awake you are, if you had a good enough breakfast, right? Whereas, you know, both players were consistent enough to get here today in the grand finals. We're just minutes away, KP. I can't wait anymore, man.
We are. My brain's too much on salesman. The moment you said, "Did they get a proper meal?" I was like, "I need to go get us a food sponsor." But the interesting thing though is like it's a really cool draft as well, Lytical, because I almost feel like Beasty got the better part of it at the beginning, but MarineLorD more than made up with it in the tail end of his draft.
Yeah, one thing I'm looking at here, KP, is that Beasty's opening civilization pick was the English. So
Yeah.
I'm particularly curious how this is going to play out for him, picking English so early on. He does have the OOTD and the Chinese as well, so a lot of water-heavy civilizations. And one thing we haven't really touched on yet is that, as you might have realized, you don't have enough civilizations to play all these maps. So once we get a little deeper in the series, once those civilizations start disappearing, the players will have a second civilization draft for the second half of this series, so to say. And I think one of the big takeaways I'm having over here for Beasty is that his civilization lineup is extremely water heavy, which does make sense when you have Moving Out, Archipelago, Four Lakes, Holy Island, maps like that. But I think one of the key things to look out for here, KP, going deeper into the series, is the order at which the maps will be played. And if you're a MarineLorD just looking at that civilization draft, you probably want to try and get those land-based maps on coastal cliffs. Don't get deceived by that water line. It has no significance on that map. But Dry Arabia, of course, coastal cliffs, Hill and Dale, maybe even a map like Four Lakes or Kawasan, because you do not want to let Beasty play out all his water civs in the first half of this series.
Yeah, I think one element that seems a bit dangerous to me, Winston, is I'm looking at Archipelago and I'm thinking, does MarineLorD have a very strong pick there? Like, he's got Roost, which is nice, but it's not your Order of the Dragon. It's not your Chinese. It's not your English, and it was never going to be your Zhuji. And 3 of those 4 I mentioned, BC already took. So it almost seems like he's prepping for Archipelago to be out of the way early here.
Yeah, BC would be, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think MarineLorD's draft is, definitely land centric, with the Biz pick already in play, right? We have just Roost in Japan for a water map, so if Beasty gets a chance to pick, but you kind of have that, it kind of works in both players' favor, right? Like maybe you drop one, if he loses one game, then he gets to pick a land map for Delhi, for example, right? Or if he wins a game, then he's up a game, so he's kind of okay with maybe picking one of his 2 water maps, right? So it's like he would have to kind of keep losing water maps, which is tricky because he has some water map sips, right? So I don't think it's really likely that that's going to be a huge issue for either player. I think both players have really solid drafts to play any of the starting maps, right? I think BC has English and Mongols for some of the open maps like Coastal Cliffs and Hillendale, respectively. He has Order of the Dragon. If it goes to Archipelago, he can play Abbasids on some of the hybrid maps here. So I think BC's draft is certainly flexible, and the same with MarineLorD, right? Japan for hybrid,
Definitely.
Roost for hybrid. Again, you were saying maybe no perfect Archipelago pick, but maybe that's where you just throw in Ottomans or Japan and just see what happens, right?
MarineLorD's going to have to admit he learned something from Dimmu. Oh, I want to hear that conversation. but no.
No way he's going to say that. No way he admits
Dude,
that.
I told Benny, I told him how to, I could already hear it coming out, the excuses. But let's quickly clock in because we mentioned water a lot, and this has been an insane tournament. For people just tuning in, we did just have our 3rd place series. It was, of course, a wipe in favor of Vortex. But even when you look at the top 8 and you think about the way that this map pool's played out, it does feel like the water pros maybe had a slight edge with Master Realms draft here, right? Like, I think that is the big takeaway I've been feeling, at least, from the results in these playoffs, Lytical.
The thing I was looking at when I saw the top 8 was that you have the most classic, most obvious lineup of players out there. If you show me this lineup a year ago, I say, yeah, this is totally legit. Um, so yeah, one of the things I think that we've seen in this tournament is that none of the up-and-coming players, those rising stars, managed to make it into the top 8. You had these obvious old guard players making it all the way to the top 8, and now we have probably the 2 most accomplished players in AOE IV history getting ready for the grand finals.
You know what I think the story is? It's the adaptation. You think the Kiljardi, the Anatan, these people's performances, they took advantage of a new meta. But we always say it's not the person who can pull a fast one. It's the one who can evolve, who can quickly adapt and overcome. And 2 of the most beautifully efficient adapters, 2 of the meta says of Age of Empires 4 history are about to clash in the grand finals here in Master of Realms. MarineLorD versus Beasty. It starts now.
And here we go, the moment everybody has been waiting for, the El Clasico of AOE IV. Beasty facing off against MarineLorD in the grand finals of Masters of Realms. And Winston, it has been 2 years since these 2 juggernauts faced off in the grand finals.
And we call it a Classico, but honestly, these players just need no introduction, right? 2 of by far probably the most popular players in AOE IV, 2 of most would say the strongest players in AOE IV consistently over the past couple of years, right? And oh man, it's just gonna be fun. It's just gonna be fun. We have a great series, a best of 9, a Humans versus Byzantines. Let's see what we dive into in this game 1.
And this is going to be an uphill battle here for Beasty because MarineLorD dropped only 2 games in the entire tournament. Both of those were against Vortex yesterday in the semifinals. But what's more important is that MarineLorD is undefeated on Dry Arabia so far. He is going to be in command of the Byzantines spawning in on the right side. And to the left, it is going to be Beasty with the Iobids in yellow.
Yeah, and the Iobids here tend to have, at least on ladder, for example, I think they have an edge here, right? By several percentage points. But we'll see if MarineLorD has some sort of strat here for Biz that deals with the pressure, because Iobids are all about these timings, right? And if they hit these timings and it works, they can do so many different things. They can get an eco lead and just, ride that out. They can go for fast hits and really quick timings, like rushes. So I'm curious if Biz has what it takes here. We're going to have forward spawn. This is always risky with Byzantines, right? You're going to have your berries and your gold on the forward. This means any pressure that comes to this spot is ripe for like attack opportunities, right, from Beasty. But maybe an outpost or 2, some longbows could be able to defend this position quite well.
Only 2 villagers committed to the winery over here, so MarineLorD is in no rush to get the feudal age. On the other side, Beasty is already up, of course, but you do not see that on the UI just yet. Let's take a look at what he's going up with, though. That looks like a military wing to me.
Yeah,
yep, indeed, Desert Raiders will be on the Y.
Yeah, Desert Raiders going to be out on the map early, force some pressure out, and we already see that defensive outpost. This is something that Byzantines are certainly always okay to do. They get a bit of stone as the game goes on, and this is why players really like the early outpost with Biz, is that you can quickly afford the emplacements just from your natural stone gathering, right? That you get from your civ bonuses, right? So it just kind of makes your defense really solid and gives you that little bit of time against these faster civs.
Indeed, and you will need that defensive tower because there is going to be Desert Raiders coming in here from Beasty. Feudal Age timings will be pretty much neck and neck over here. Thank you, production, for putting up the Iobid countdown to the left. You can actually see that little icon and the countdown. So, I don't know about that, Winston. One thing I'm looking at here is sheep counts, which looks pretty decent for Beasty, although, did he just run out of sheep under his DC?
He's on berries as well, so Beasty's
yeah, of course.
Fine.
It's more like his backup food. This is a very much berry-based civilization matchup here.
Yeah, no, he had sheep still. He was just on the berries, right? And you can see he's very carefully managing what's left here. He's going to be saving these berries for the economic growth wing. So we could be seeing that later.
First Desert Raider out on the way. Defensive tower is already complete for MarineLorD on the berries, not so much on the gold, and that gold mine becomes a primary target for Beasty.
I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw another outpost, though, pretty soon.
Is it going to be in
I was kind of
though?
expecting 2, or maybe 1 more towards the left. Like you're saying, it's a bit of a weird spot.
Yeah, Woodline is also pretty open over here. It's a lot of opportunities to Beasty, or for Beasty, to do some harassment. MarineLorD is going to open with a Mercenary House, also adding some olive groves. And Beasty was looking for the berries. He gets repelled by the tower immediately, so he knows what's up. He's trying to find that magical angle, but with the arrow slits out there, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and you can see MarineLorD is totally okay to get pushed off gold for the time being. He's just going to soak up some olive oil from these berries really, really quickly, and then get some longbows out likely. Yeah, it's going to be longbows. Longbow Limitani, it's a kind of a classic option for Biz. It gives them options against the stable here. The longbow deal well with the Desert Raider, and then the Limitani obviously handling the horseman quite well. Oh, but a bit of poke here from Beasty.
And he's trying to slow down this barracks construction, trying to buy some time for his horsemen to arrive. He knows fully well that MarineLorD is already prepping a counter to this, though, and we have this classic English composition coming in here from MarineLorD. It's the spear or spear equivalent, plus, of course, longbows, very reminiscent of how English play aggressive feudal age.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Beasty go for a really greedy play here. I think the horseman might be more just to have map control and force a reaction. Right, force MarineLorD to make a lot of units before he can come out and push the base of Beasty and keep that scout alive is clutch. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see Beasty stopping at just a couple of horsemen, although seeing the range makes me think otherwise now.
He pulled away all the villagers from berries, by the way, all the way back to Sheep. I actually wonder what's up with that.
Can we check the berries? I'm pretty sure they're all going to be at like 1 food.
Very possibly. But it definitely looked
pretty low. Yeah, he just doesn't want to risk it. Wants to focus on the micro. I kind of get it in this situation.
Yeah, Scout is going to get pushed away here from MarineLorD. He sees the horsemen. Camels are also chasing him. First batch of longbows will be on the way. And Beast is playing very defensive here. He's actually grabbing some arrow slits, so he's definitely respecting MarineLorD. Maybe a little too much even, because MarineLorD is nowhere close to being able to pressure him.
Yeah, the first pack of longbows is a little delayed here. We saw that only 2 vills on the age up, but as a response, well, alongside having the delayed longbow units out on the field, MarineLorD already has 4 olive groves up and running. And now with the longbows here,
heavy on the eco. Now first longbows are coming out. Beasty did a decent job kind of lowering the HP of those Limitani, but this is where things could get a little dicier for him. Starting to mix in some archers, but his production is not very spectacular. In fact, he's got 0 units in queue, and he's piling up resources. We could see a fast castle here, Winston.
Yeah, I think this might be advancement, and the idea here is he's leaving a lot of elves on gold, so he's going to overdraft the gold by a lot, because he knows that longbows are coming, and the outpost can only do so much. The longbows could always poke, so we're going to get advancement, and then he's going to put all of his vills on food, and then he can add in those camel lancers much easier once he already has a stockpile amount of gold. And MarineLorD turning around here might be a bit unfortunate, but the attack comes in at the woodline at the same time. Beasty's going to click up to castle.
That advantage of mobility is coming in clutch here for Beasty. He's actually pulling MarineLorD's forces back by harassing him. So he's going to get up to castle age with absolutely no pressure from MarineLorD here. And, you know, that lack of mobility for MarineLorD is haunting him a little.
Beasty doesn't even have to go advancement. He's just going straight for economic growth. Wow, that's insane.
So he didn't even have to. But it's calculated. He knows exactly that MarineLorD isn't going to pressure him.
Well, I think he could have gone advancement if MarineLorD did pressure. I think the flexibility of a UBIDS is one of their greatest strengths, right? They can just age up with so many different options, and they all can be variable and dynamic given the situation. And I think he was ready to click up if those longbows showed up, so they could get camel lancers out quickly. But with MarineLorD back defending at home with a much larger army just for defense, and look, MarineLorD's not even close to clicking up. It's going to be another couple minutes.
And look at Beasty's scout in a mid-map. He knows fully well that MarineLorD is nowhere close to his base. And in fact, if you look back just a minute ago, he probably was scouting the same area, seeing if MarineLorD is present. As you kind of highlighted, he probably would have just rushed Castle Age if he saw MarineLorD closing in. But because he didn't see all these longbows out here, he just decided to go with this slower but more effective approach. And he does have 500 gold in the bank as well. So when he reaches Castle Age, he's got a lot of gold buffer to work with.
Yeah, just getting ranged armor now, though, might not have the best timing. The longbows are going to be able to park on top of this gold mine and deny it, but Beasty, like you said, 700 gold. That's enough for 6 Lancers right now. So he should be good to defend against this if he's able to also mass archers at the same time. The units, though, coming in just straight for the dive here. Just going for blood here. MarineLorD senses the age up and he's diving in. Lidacor, this could spell disaster for Beasty, losing 5 vills.
Yeah, this is looking dicey over here. Beasty's trying to intercept the reinforcements here, making
Micro?
a run with the Veils. Quick reaction by MarineLorD. Beautiful micro to focus all of those down. That's 3 villagers gone, plus access to the gold mine. At the same time, Beasty is cleaning up incoming reinforcements, though, so MarineLorD is a little stranded. And what's more concerning is that he lost his scout. He's deprived of vision, so he needs to be ultra careful here. But he does push away all these lumberjacks as well, fails to kill another villager. Costage is in for Beasty, and Camel Lancer is now on the way too.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see a switch to Gulam. This one little short wall here is going to be effective, and this horseman is pretty low. If MarineLorD's paying attention, he could just kill it with the... Oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah, he's just going to kill it with the bells. Meanwhile, though, the attack force is poking on the wood line of Beasty. Oh, not quite able to get the vision.
Nice little walls there. That just slows down this rotation so much. And some harassment here as well from Beasty. At the end of the day, despite all this pressure on Beasty's base, he lost 3 villagers. He was able to take out 2 from the opposing player. So he does have a villager lead of 8 right now.
Yeah, those 6, the 8 from the growth wing are certainly coming in clutch here, right? Absolutely massive lead.
Only
Wait,
has
oh,
2
Beasty.
Camel Lancers, though.
He
That's
needs
the
more.
flayed wood line. A lot of idle time on Beasty's eco here. He's looking to clean this up. He does have veterancy on the archers, but he's waiting for the blacksmith upgrades to come in. But this is causing so much idle time on his eco.
Yeah, but MarineLorD has to be careful here. If he gets caught, which he certainly could be here, Beasty has to be looking at this and saying, okay, when can I kill this army? Because if MarineLorD's allowed to just walk in, go in all the way around and just leave, it's going to be a really big problem because that will then reconnect with all of his other army. And it looks like Beasty, not able to pull the trigger on this, is now going to have to find a different way of dealing with this. And MarineLorD...
He's off of gold. He's off of gold, and because of that, he can't mix in more premium units in Costage. He's actually struggling to get key blacksmith upgrades going, and now MarineLorD is looking to age up the Costage as well. Beasty slips away, and at the same time, MarineLorD, he's remassing here. A new wave of reinforcements came in. Costage is getting closer and closer. The window might actually be closing here for Beasty.
Actually, he is on gold. He's on gold on the south, and he's really lucky that MarineLorD didn't go to check.
He lost his scout.
That could have been bad.
One thing that Beasty did when his tower was assaulted was pick off the initial scout of MarineLorD. He does lose the 2 camels over here, but at the very least, MarineLorD is deprived of vision. And that's part of the reason why Beast is able to slip out. Costage on the way with the Golden Horn Tower for MarineLorD. At the same time, Camel Lancers are marching up. Beasty does have access to gold once again, so Camel Lancer is back in production.
Yeah, and this is the timing that Beasty has to look for. He has to deal meaningful damage here. The cavalry coming around, running right into Limitani. MarineLorD with a great catch. 4 units going down for free. Oh no, Beasty's in trouble now because the Castle Age is in for MarineLorD. He has enough resources and he's defended at home. Oh, that was a huge loss.
That is massive. Expensive units going down here, and you know, all that tech advantage that Beasty built up is now gone. Costage is in for MarineLorD. He is getting the veterancy on the Limitani. He is getting the veterancy on those longbows as well. And when you look at the blacksmith upgrades, they are neck and neck. Beasty just wasn't able to utilize that Costage advantage he had, and now the longbows dive in. Beasty wanted to move to the south, gets 2 villagers picked off. Mangonel is back at home for him. He's also rebuilding the walls. Made a little zoo on the left side of his base just for those berry villagers. At the very least, this wall is going to keep those units at bay for the time being.
Yeah, Beasty needs to figure something out that works, and we have a counter zoo, so both players taking their corner berries with safety. The Camel Lancers, though, coming across for the raid, aren't going to deal too much damage. They're going to run headfirst into the wall, but the Mangonel is going to be a surprise. MarineLorD is not looking. He sees it just in time. Oh, boy. That was close. That could...
still doesn't have a scout. He is deprived of vision, and he's playing with fire now. One big clump of infantry. But against a Mangonel like that, you look away and you are gone. Yeah, as you highlighted, this Mangonel is helping out so much for Beasty with the defense. Looks like he's going to stabilize for the time being, looking to break into his opponent's base, but MarineLorD already has walls going as well. Some very interesting looking walls, although some of them might actually be aqueducts, but still, the minimap looks a little janky for him.
Yeah, he's certainly getting that aqueduct network going up. He's up to tier 3, and we'll see if he's able to get it up to 4 or 5 later. Currently not mining too much stone, but now we have Beasty moving out. MarineLorD already grabbing some of these vital relics. And Beasty just now starting to train the dervishes himself, so looking to grab at least 2 of the relics, but MarineLorD's army is just bigger and badder and scarier still. With Beasty losing those free cav units, the 4 cav units, sorry, for free, that was really rough. And he's still kind of recovering from that.
And at the same time, 3rd relic is going to be on the way home here for MarineLorD. He's escorting those monks with his army, so Beasty isn't able to snipe these out. Beasty himself looking to collect some relics. At the same time, MarineLorD does have a very well set up Olive Grove eco, something that we haven't yet touched on. Whereas for Beasty, his only source of food right now are berries. Berries that will be depleted very shortly.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to get a farm transition going himself. This might just be one of those games where he has to push out, grab some deer, and go for some sort of YOLO push, because, I don't know, like you're saying, MarineLorD's macro is just solid right now. He's getting his long-term stuff in order. He's setting up for the late game already, while still kind of not losing in the mid game, right? In fact, getting advantages with these fights, so we'll see.
Varangian's on the way now in large numbers for MarineLorD. He's also getting teardrop shields for his units. Beasty is slowly making a pivot into crossbows, and finally these gold miners do get found down south. Beasty once again has to flee here. Those army numbers, they're just looking worse and worse for Beasty here, you feel. It's not just the fact that, you know, he's getting outnumbered, it's the quality and the composition that we're looking at. But we do have a nice little raid here from Beasty. Bit of a traffic jam underneath the aqueducts, though, but he does have a couple of villagers killed thanks to all these camels.
Yeah, but Arcatoy is activated, and so the Vil's gonna have to run in the end, but only a few picks, and for a couple Camel Lancers, you have to wonder how worth it this is to actually be trading units for Vils right now. To me, it seems like that will help, but Beasty needs to beat this army at some point. And it's coming in. 3 Mangonels, though, maybe going to be the trick.
Ooh, beautiful volley. Nice splits out there by MarineLorD. He's sending in the Varangians, and the archers will be used as the front line by Beasty. Nice Mangonel volleys. Once again, Dervish is committed to the healing. But those Varangians will just eat these archers for breakfast, and once again, MarineLorD is doing a great job splitting, just completely ignoring the Mangonels, focusing on the Dervishes and the longbows. And with all these longbows being split up, it's so difficult for Beasty to get any kind of value for these Varangians. Now beating up the siege weapons in the front line is just gone for Beasty. MarineLorD could remain undefeated here on Dry Arabia, as he's awfully close to securing game number 1.
What a huge win there for him, and Beasty just had no front line. He had no answer to the Varangians, and you have to wonder, you know, 7 Camel Lancers were produced, and none were at the big fight. And maybe they would have died to the Limitani. Maybe he did get as much value as he could have there, but man, those little mistakes, the losses here and there just kind of added up there for Beasty. And I mean, MarineLorD just had his number, it felt like, the entire game. That raid where MarineLorD was able to go behind the base of Beasty and not lose any units and just deal idle damage, slow down that FC, really add pain to Beasty's build order. Man, that was clean from MarineLorD. That was, like, what mistake did he make?
I have to say, I do not know. I feel like this was just MarineLorD being able to play in his comfort zone. Really, he was harassed a little by Beasty, but at the end of the day, there was little pressure towards his eco, and he was just able to build up that death bowl of longbows, Limitani, and Varangians. Whereas for Beasty, you feel like he got up to Castle Age. He got the eco boost even from the extra villagers he got with the Age up, but the tech advantage he could never realize because the pressure on his gold prevented him from getting a couple more Camel Lancers out. Those initial casualties you kind of highlighted. You feel like that's where that game started slipping for Beasty. That power spike with Castle Age was simply unexploited.
Yeah, it felt like he wasn't really able to get anything going from that. The raids didn't really pan out with either the Desert Raiders. Like, he caught a couple Vils, in the feudal age. And I thought BC actually played really well in the feudal age timings, right? Like everything looked great. Like he was picking off reinforcements, he was forcing MarineLorD home. I thought when BC was going FC with advancement wing that he was just going to really try and hit hard and fast, but maybe getting a bit baited by growth there, thinking he had more time than he did, because MarineLorD turned around the one time. He didn't turn around a second time. There were no units on the field to force him to do so. So the second time around, MarineLorD just came around with all those longbows, all those Limitani, and BC had nothing to fight it. Walls can only hold it for so long, and every single resource got idled at a different time, just making that whole production issue really amplified.
Into game number 2 we go, though, and this is going to take us to the first of the 2 chaos maps that we have here. Socotra is going to be the first one of those 2 to be played. And this is not a map that either of these players have played a lot, if I recall correctly.
I think Beasty played against Kiljardi on this map. It was pretty decisive for him. I think he was Mongols as well. It was the same matchup even. So I think I don't know who I favor here. I think this is a very technical map. It really comes down to how things spawn on the map and how you react to certain things, and just like the general timings. Like a lot of this comes down to, is Mongols able to do any damage with the tower rush, right? Because if you can trush here, I feel like your game kind of opens up. But we'll see if MarineLorD lets that happen. I kind of doubt we're going to get a high value tower rush in in Dark Age this game.
Well, we just have 45 seconds left to go here. Mongols versus the Malians over here is going to be the civilization choices. Malians, something that you see pretty commonly on this map, but it's also, I think, one of the things that we've talked about in terms of the Malians on this map, Winston, if I recall correctly from the last time we've cast together, was that Malians often have issues with space on this map. It's just so tight that getting all those cattle ranches going, the houses around the gold mines, it could be a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing Malians prioritized here quite a lot. And part of me wonders, like, if it's really that good here. I think it's certainly been played a lot, but I haven't seen it, like, dominate in a way where I'm like, oh, this is a Malian map, right? I feel like Mongols, as a counter to Malians here, has been doing quite well. At least from what I can tell, from what I've seen. Because I haven't played this map a ton. You know, Socotra's kind of new to me. So, yeah, it's certainly interesting.
Into game number 2 we go here. Beasty down 1-0 against MarineLorD, as MarineLorD is now playing in command of the Malians. The first time for him in this entire tournament. Whereas for Beasty, he's in command of the Mongols, a civilization that he's undefeated with. So there is some uncertainty in here when it comes to MarineLorD's Malians, and there's a lot of confidence in Beasty's Mongols as we'll be heading into Socotra.
Yeah, and we can take a look at these spawn points. That's a very forward Uvu, but I guess that's how it spawns on this map. That's how it do. Let's take a look at the golds for MarineLorD. Where are they? How are they looking? Interesting. So he's going to be able to get the houses around the back. This isn't something you're guaranteed with Malians. For example, you can get a gold more like that, where you're not really able to build all those houses on your starting gold. But here he's going to be able to build that full amount, which I think is what Malian players are really looking for. And we'll see if BC's able to do any damage by moving forward. And there's the barracks. So we're going to be getting some sort of Dark Age play, Lidicor.
I don't know what you want to do against the Malians. If you think about it, you need to have some aggression put out there. But I love the walls here from MarineLorD. He's actually using that little upgrade we had to the walls like half a year ago or so. Walls now snapping to terrain features such as berries. So MarineLorD is just going to say, okay, I expect you to come in with spears. Good luck getting through my TC fire because I'm going to wall off my flanks.
Yeah, so this early wall, though, is a commitment, right? It's a big investment, and there's going to be spears on the field. So Mongols don't have to build the tower here. They can just send the spearmen alone. The Vil is coming forward. Not going to be too much value here. Maybe here, in this case, we do get the boar pull, though. The villager BC has to run. So in this case, the trick is you aggro the boar and then you run out of range, and now the Vil is the target of the boar's wrath. And that damage could be meaningful. There's even 2 wolves to add to the damage.
It's not just the damage, Winston. It's also the delays out there. You got 2 wolves coming in. This one is attacking the spearman, so it's less significant. But that villager already has some damage done to it. And that could be the make or break when it comes to the survival of that villager.
Yeah, and we'll see. It looks like the outpost is going to have to go maybe on the wood line here and just be as annoying as possible in that case. Right? Because this is where MarineLorD's going to have to take wood. 2 villas forward even, so Beasty is committing to the tower rush, even though, like you said earlier, Lidicor, he's got to walk under the TC if he wants to do any damage.
Yeah, he's creeping up with the Spearman, creeping up with the Villager as well. Mansa Quarry is going to be placed to the front over here, but a second Villager was pulled even. Beasty is now full committing to this. 4 Spearmen out there, 2 Villagers have been pulled for his tower. He really wants to make something happen.
Yeah, Beasty's just going to commit these vills to the attack, and oh, she's going to go for the outpost here. This will deny the berries. The hurt vill just going to get pulled, so Beasty's going to get that vill back to work. Not feeling comfortable that the tower rush is going to be there, but MarineLorD did pay a price for this. The walls are not cheap to get up like this. So we'll see how this pans out, taking some unnecessary damage there.
Now Rasmus coming in here from Beasty. 2 more Spearmen on the way. Feudal Edge is going to hit for MarineLorD. He's taking the stragglers on this side, now pulling the villagers to try and torch this down, but the Spearmen are vigilant. Looks like MarineLorD is committing to this, though. Does a lot of damage to the tower. Towers taking, or in general, buildings taking a lot more damage while they're being built. And this tower might just be on fire when it's finished, if it's finished even. Still torching it down. Nice micro by MarineLorD. He's going to take this building out here, Winston.
No, he's not able to do it. A ton of idle time, lots of villager HP, and honestly, I don't know if MarineLorD needed to do that. Like, what does this tower really do other than set up a staging ground maybe for a push later? Like, that was a huge expense, and now Beasty sneaking around with a 3rd forward vill just to kind of grab this. Or is this the hurt vill maybe from before? We have a vill pull. MarineLorD saw it.
And this time around, that's a lot more villagers. He's actually going to fight off the Spearman, but the tower is near completion. Villager will be pushed away, though, and the tower does get cancelled by Beasty.
Yeah, but every time this happens, that's so much idle time. MarineLorD, he's built a range, can't afford a thing.
It's getting very chaotic because, indeed, as you said, the response is very disproportional to the actual aggression. Beasty's committing 2 villagers to this, but now he's on the way to Feudal Age. Uh-oh, this villager... Okay, this is full HP, so he's fine. Once again, tower is being built. If MarineLorD wants to pull villas, it's a long walk.
Yeah, but now, finally, some javelins on the way. He's like, fine, I'll make something that doesn't cost me any wood at all. And we have some javelins, and this should be enough to defend a little bit. We'll see if he's able to deny this tower. One of the spearmen should be able to hold... One of them's really low HP on these spears, and it gets instantly killed. Oh boy, Beasty's not looking. Or if he is, he doesn't care. He's just gonna stick the landing here. The vill just goes down.
Villager is gone, so tower needs to be cancelled over here. But once again, I love how Beasty waited until MarineLorD pulled like 7 villagers to cancel the tower.
Yeah. So all things considered, at the end of this, the vill pull and the vill forward, MarineLorD did not complete his pit mine fully, and even a range was forced. Lidicor, you talked about this at the start. Not enough space for Malians to do all their Malian things. Look at the placement on this range. It actually blocked some of the space on the pit mine even, which might be a problem. If we could take a look at that in a sec. Yeah, like not able to get all this. I think he had to delete a house to build a mining camp. Just not enough space.
That's bad. And some of the pit mine spots are actually blocked by the range itself. And it's not just about the surroundings of that gold mine. It's also the fact that, as we do have a bit of a scuffle here involving the board, it's also the fact that you want to expand your base and you still have that tower to the north. And now Beasty is looking to just suffocate MarineLorD here. He's going to get a dock up. MarineLorD is already pinned in his base because of that tower. A dock and some combat ships could make his life miserable, but he's expecting a dock, so he is going to play with his own dock as well.
Yeah, this is certainly an interesting situation, right? Like, MarineLorD certainly has to be feeling the space confinement. He's really limited to this, and if enough archers come out and MarineLorD stops producing javs, he could be in trouble. His only scout has been on this side of the map. I don't think MarineLorD really knows about the double range commitment from Beasty here. So if the javelins at any point are caught out of position or there aren't enough of them, It could be a big issue for him.
It's gonna be an archer commitment from Beasty. Javelins are on the way. I just want to highlight that this mid-map boar is actually a pain for both of these players, because the moment they get close to it, the opponent's going to aggro it, and that's why you see MarineLorD backing off every single time Beasty pulls back behind the boar.
Oh man. Tense game here. You can feel
It's the calm
the
before
heat's
the
about
storm,
to pick
right?
up. Yeah. Something's about to happen. Maybe in a minute or so. Once Beasty feels like he has enough archers, he's up to 8. And that's a pretty solid number. Even spending some of his stone to double produce those archers.
He needs to make up for that difference, because now MarineLorD's eco is kicking off. His food eco is nice, gold income as well, and he's expanding towards the front of his base. First ship is coming out to the south. Beasty is sailing around with a light chunk. MarineLorD decided to make a dock, but he does not have a single combat ship out just yet.
Yeah, probably just trying to wait and see if he has to make a Hulk. Hulks are really expensive, right? I guess in this case it'd be the war canoe, right? But it's just a very expensive ship to have to produce. You don't want to do it unless you need to. And there's the denial on the gold. A couple big volleys come in. Damage spread out pretty evenly, but it will add up over time. And all these gold vills are idled.
It's the drawback of having that gold mine at the back, right? You would think it's nice and safe tucked away behind your DC, but guess what? Your opponent can just sneak a ship behind your base, and suddenly you get pushed away from the gold mine. Ooh, tower here is going to provide a lot of line of sight for Beasty, and because it's hidden in the Style Forest, MarineLorD does not see it. MarineLorD moves out of his base oblivious of this tower being built.
Yeah, and this wood line is going to become a pressure point. And wait, MarineLorD out of position. Where do the archers go? He's going to go straight for the economy. He's moving in with all the archers.
Yup. Beasty's pulling back his buildings, and now the archers are moving in. Speed arrow was popped for Beasty to close in the distance, and this is a slaughter. MarineLorD slow to react here, loses a bunch of villagers. A lot of the villas are heavily damaged as well. Beasty has to be happy with the 4 villager kills out there, but at the same time, his own building does get surrounded. Not a lot of torching power out there for MarineLorD, but there's just nowhere for Beasty to go. He's going to lose one of those production buildings.
Now, range going down is an expensive loss, but at least with vills you can replace it. Beasty queuing up a demo. Interesting. Feeling like he still has the edge on the water. He's going to be committing even harder to it now.
Jumping back and forth here
Oh,
between the
no.
ships. MarineLorD is...
Oh!
Oh, there is the war chunk coming out
What?
just in time for Beasty to save his naval assault. He keeps MarineLorD off the gold mine, Winston.
Oh. Never mind. Yeah, he's going to keep him off, and he has a demo coming around as well. We'll see where
That's
it
big.
runs into. Oh, but Beasty's not
There
paying
is no
attention.
galley for
There's just a
MarineLorD.
lock going
That
on.
demo from Beasty can easily sink that.
I'm pretty sure there's a galley, but it's just on the north side. Or did it go down?
Yeah, it went down. Just look at the top of the screen. There's a new
Oh,
galley in queue
so
for
what?
MarineLorD.
Wild. Game is crazy. So much happening all over the place, Liticor. Big fight
Archers
in the
facing off
center
against
here.
the javelins here. Bad fight for Beasty. He's getting all of his archers cleaned up, but he's trying to save this
Here's
one
the
over.
surround.
Ooh, beautiful flank though. It's going to take out those javelins slow and steady. Dancers are going down as well, and MarineLorD, he might be cleaned up over here.
Maybe. The Javs are still a really good unit here. And 5 more come to reinforce. BC's going to have to retreat. There's just too much Jav, too much damage. BC needs some cavalry here or something to deal with this. Or he's just going to have to force the trades. Oh man, what a game. But all the torching power is dead. And MarineLorD is back on gold.
He is back on gold. He had to invest a lot into his ships though. Went with a ballista ship, arrow ship out there as well. Still, Beasty does have this one war junk to harass with. He also has a tower still in that stealth forest, and I do think he still has the tower to the north of MarineLorD's base, so he's still confining his opponent here to a certain extent, as Beast is apparently having some food shortages here, having to go all the way out there for that small deer pack.
Yeah, this game is really starting to heat up because it's just getting to the point where players have to expand. And where do you go? Like, the game is too crazy to really know where you're going to go, right? Oh, man. Both players with exposed economies. Looks like MarineLorD wanted to build something there, but had to cancel it because of the outpost. And we do see the Keshik switch behind this. Only one Keshik in the field, though. Not the biggest thing.
It's going to be problematic for Beasty. He doesn't have a lot of stone to double train, and he doesn't have a lot of food to work with either.
Yeah, there was an outpost with arrow slits on the right there by the berries. That must be what killed the war junk, or sorry, the arrow ship from MarineLorD. That's what killed it. I was like, what killed that? The arrow canoe, like what killed that? I was so confused, but yeah, now Beasty backed off on the water, backed off on the land, and MarineLorD just left to macro to his heart's content. But not really doing any transition here. Now adding in a few Donso. That's going to be predicting these Keshik. It looks like we might be getting some sort of all-in from Beasty pretty soon. He's nearing full completion on these feudal techs. And
army count like neck and neck between the two. I think the concern for Beasty is sustainability. He's out there in the middle of the field taking the hunt, whereas MarineLorD is just nice and tucked away inside his base. He's using cattle. He's got a safe source of wood, now safe source of gold as well. Blacksmith upgrades. Oh, and that's some long-distance food gathering here for Beasty. Luckily for him, he can move the girl a little closer, but this is more than exposed.
Yeah, it's a very exposed economy, but if it works, it works. We'll see. These vills take the walk of shame back home. After a long night out, they have to walk all the way back with their food. And then they're going to walk all the way back to the hunt. Just sometimes you get that unfortunate timing with the Gares. Scout does go down for MarineLorD.
And Beasty's preparing some demos. Ready. He wants to go back on that little gold mine. Kind of being sneaky there. One demo, one galley, and one ballista ship for MarineLorD. 2 galleys for Beasty, 1 ballista ship, 1 demo. So very, very similar fleets as now MarineLorD is looking to push this tower. This is providing a lot of intel for Beasty. I think particularly about the fact that you don't have a lot of Dunsos here. Waterbush comes in, Demo's poking around. Demo goes down for MarineLorD. Still, demo is available for Beasty. Tower does get torched down bottom left of your screen. We do have that naval action still going on. Nice jukes by Beasty to avoid the arrow fire from that one galley on the opposing side. Demo still looking to converge. Beautiful dodges, I should say, from Beasty once again. He pulls back the demo at low HP. He does lose his junk to the opponent's war galley, but now the demo comes in, a beautiful shot, but it does not sink the war canoe. And now the demo comes in from MarineLorD. Beasty does have his fleet cleaned up.
Beautiful stuff from MarineLorD. It felt really risky for Beasty to be sitting there under the dock with his units, and MarineLorD just took the trade, took out the light junk, and was like, all right, I will fight you here. And then once the light junk was done, his demo and Q was just able to bring terror there. And now another outpost finally getting cleared up, so MarineLorD going to be feeling a bit more confident each time here. He's able to clear these up. It just makes his map so much easier. But the curl tie coming into play. Beasty able to get the food income while distracting on the land. And that's going to be much faster than MarineLorD, who you say his economy is much safer, Liticor, but it's not necessarily better. Look at all those cows. That is several hundred gold in cows just sitting under his TC that he had to invest to get the food to play the game. Meanwhile, Beasty, with his map presence, was able to get it rolling the castle much faster, and this timing could be really awkward.
Oh, this could be terrible. That landmark is being rushed by 20 villagers, but MarineLorD is going to see double towers out there. Cold Eye needs to go up. Buff is available, but no castle edge upgrades for Beasty. MarineLorD decides to dive here Dunsos, tanking the initial charge, stunning the Keshik. All the Keshik are now gone, and the Javelins are just reigning supreme, decimating all these archers. Villagers getting caught in the crossfire as well. And MarineLorD is looking awfully strong over here, Winston.
Yeah, the curl tie is a good damage bonus, which does help the archers deal damage against these javelins, but this is 10 villagers just chilling. The spring on the placement not going to come in time. Repairs coming out. The archers coming forward. The curl tie doing its best. Oh boy. This is a risky situation. MarineLorD going for the dive. Still 30 javelins on the field. Beasty down to 7 units. The game looks like it might be coming to a close here. 2 men-at-arms come charging forward valiantly. What can they do? Nothing. Beasty taps out. Oh my gosh. Liticor, what a game from MarineLorD here. Under pressure the entire time and coming out with the W.
first time MarineLorD plays Malians in this tournament. First time Beasty loses with the Mongols in this tournament, as now MarineLorD is up 2-0. Beasty went with Socotra here as his first pick for a map to be played after Dry Arabia, but now he's down 2-0. So let's head back and ask what KP thinks about all these matches.
Ooh, wow, 2 in already, and I'm starting to think we're going to have a very quick day here. I mean, there was already that 3-0 and under now. Our MarineLorD is already 2 points up. Someone has to change soon here, Winston. And, someone I've been noticing that's quite intriguing in Game 1 and Game 2 now. And it's something we usually reserve for water maps. Going Castle Age seems to immediately be equaling GG's for Beasty.
I think it's just in a lot of the tournament. That's the meta we're in right now. Players sense it. They feel the urge to just dive, and it seems that when you hit Castle Age, if you have maybe a minute, you have to stabilize. You have to hold. You have to plan that out. If you don't, you're dead, right? Because we see the player with, 1,800 resources of army just comes rolling through, right? Like, that's what MarineLorD had been investing in that whole time. And Beasty maybe a bit baited by the age up, not maybe having enough Keshik to defend there, maybe getting caught a little surprised by just how many javelins MarineLorD had there. But yeah, no, certainly Castle Age into GG seems to be a theme on many of these maps.
I think we have to praise MarineLorD for that. The way he's been sniffing them out has been incredible in Game 1 and Game 2. The dives were perfectly timed. And, I think that then leans on another thought here, Lidder, especially that Game 1. Iabids is a tempo civ. They're not a defensive civ, right? Mongols, they're a tempo civ. They're not a defensive civ. The worry for me so far, and I don't know if you've noticed this as well, is like Beasty's picks have been aggressively oriented, but he finds himself being put in a defensive position with civs that simply aren't designed for it.
I have a similar line of thought here. I'm not sure how much this is on Beasty. It's more about MarineLorD is able to repel that early aggression. And despite the fact that it seemed like MarineLorD has to commit a lot to repel that tower's aggression, Beasty wasn't able to follow up after that initial tower aggression he put up. And I think the theme that we've seen in game number 1 and 2 was that in both of these games, MarineLorD was allowed to build up this death ball of an army and then just unleash it on Beasty. Beasty did his best to try and put some eco pressure on his opponent. Maybe that was the issue. Both game number 1 and 2, priority was to get raids going. Winston highlighted that multiple times, trying to come in with the camel riders to get some villager kills. But armies were never traded, and this just allowed MarineLorD to build up a more powerful force over time in both of these games.
Well, maybe the rest of the draft, Winston, can lean into that more defensive style for Beasty, right? Like I'm seeing English coming up next. I see Chinese and Abbasid still in reserve. These are civs that are known to be formidable at hunkering down.
Yeah, and these are two of Beasty's best civs, right? China and Abbasid. So I think still has a lot of power left in his early draft, right? We could see a second draft and things could change if we get to game 6 is when we get another draft. I forget exactly the number.
After game 4, it should be.
After game 4, we get another draft. Okay, wow, that's even earlier. So yeah, here we see the Ottomans pick from MarineLorD. Maybe still not wanting to commit Delhi. Ottoman's not the most conventional pick on Hillendale, but English also don't have a bad matchup against Ottomans, if I recall, right? So
I mean, do English have a bad matchup at all?
yeah, so this could be pretty good for Beasty. We'll see. We talked earlier, KP, about how Ottomans were maybe a pick we see just thrown into one of these land maps, and it looks like Beasty taking him to Hillendale is going to be aiming to do just that.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. So far in this tournament, English are at a perfect 50% win rate. They're the only civ to maintain that up to this point. Not something that we would have anticipated. I'm sure everyone's seen the videos. They've seen the Reddit threads. Beasty himself has got a video on this exact matter. White Tower, Fast Castle, OP. No stop to it. Especially on a map like Hillendale, closed as it is. Surely this is where we finally see Beasty get a point on the board and make this look competitive. Because so far, there is a growing risk that MarineLorD's tempered aggression is going to run away with the series. So let's get into something a bit more defensive to see if the Defender God can come back in.
Into game number 3 we go. MarineLorD up 2-0. He's going to be in command of the Ottomans down south with the color pink And to the north, it was Beasty's first civilization pick in the draft. He valued this civilization very high here. He's going to be in command of the English with the color yellow.
Yeah, and let's take a look at how this map spawned. Wow, nice map for MarineLorD. Gold in the back is going to make it comfortable. The stone maybe could be a bit exposed here. The deer also forward. Maybe could be a problem. Meanwhile, Beasty, he's looking at some good stuff as well. So nothing too outrageous. Immediately spotting the eye right with this map spawn. Seems completely fine for both players. Maybe a slight edge to Beasty's map. He could get a wall on that south side and feel quite comfortable. Interesting, though. Yeah, English versus Ottomans. Going to be one of these matchups where you see it a lot. You don't get it a ton in tournaments, I feel like, recently, since the Ottomans have kind of fell out of favor. They used to be, for a while, just one of the most favored Arabia and just general landmap civs. And then, you know, English kind of also, at that time, they weren't the top pick for a lot of players at the time. Not all the time, at least. And here, it seems like we're going to have to see some interesting stuff. I wonder how this meta has really developed. We did see the instant mill school from MarineLorD, so nothing crazy from him. Generally, though, this doesn't get a lot of value because the Spearman has really nothing to do against English. This is one of the reasons why English don't really care about the Ottoman opening. They just do whatever they want. So maybe the Spearman just pushes, honestly. Preps for a potential king and pushes some deer, I guess. I don't even think you send it forward.
It's an interesting option. One of the cool trivia things I like about AOE IV, and this is one of my favorite trivia facts, is that different units have different sizes for the hitboxes when it comes to interaction with other units. What that means is that the Spearman is actually a lot more effective pushing deer than scouts are because they have this larger hitbox when it comes to interacting with the deer. But it looks like it's going to be sent forward here. A unit that's going to be there to harass Beasty, as Beasty himself is aging up with the Abbey of the Kings. A landmark that gained a lot of popularity recently, Winston.
Yeah, the buffs where you just get a free king added so much tempo to English, which is really crazy. Like, this landmark is now really nuts. I feel like it's just super solid in so many cases. It can work with applying pressure. It can work in moderate pressure. It can work with just only using the free king and doing crazy stuff like FC, 2TC, 3TC. Crazy things can happen behind the king. Meanwhile, it does look like MarineLorD just going to use these spearmen defensively, keep these at home, and wait for the king's arrival.
And that's exactly what Beasty is going for. He's already on stone. He wants to play 2TCs here, and this is a fundamental switch up from what we've seen in the previous games. In the previous games, he was trying to play aggressive, but MarineLorD simply just outboom him or outscaled him in terms of army production. But here, Beasty is going to sit back a little more and just wants to outscale his opponent. But guess what? MarineLorD does have the Socotra trade network, and I'm actually wondering, especially if he can get rid of that king early on, is he thinking about actually trading or just garrisoning the traders into the trade network?
I mean, if he kills the king, maybe, but the king can always come back, and then it's just such a big risk. I feel like just leaving it in here for a while until maybe you can wall or know you're safe. I feel like that's the best way to play with the Sultan Hani. At least that's my opinion. I think other players could have different perspectives, so I could definitely see MarineLorD going for some greedy all-in. It might be a way to counter out this English play.
Here comes Feudal Age. Beasty immediately queuing up the king here. He is also pretty quick picking up the stone because it's on the front. If MarineLorD decided to send the Spearman forward, he could have potentially slowed this whole thing down, but we always talk about this, Winston. It's a little difficult to push the English villagers, and instead, it looks like MarineLorD is just going to mirror this build here from Beasty. He saw Beasty on stone, he's going to shift to stone himself, and he's going to play 2 town centers as well.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the metas we've been seeing on Hillendale, is it just really favors this 2TC play. That's why we see a lot of our 2TC civs get picked here. Interesting. Yeah, just going for the deer here is Beasty, so aiming for that fast age up behind this. So I don't know if we'll see a big farm transition in Feudal Age here, like we see some players go for. Some players do King into 2TC into like a big farm boom, where they're going to defend in Feudal Age, but then almost be able to skip straight to Imp with how solid their macro becomes. Like they're not going castle until they have like 80 vills or 70 vills, right? Whereas here, I think Beasty might be aiming for a much faster castle time with the deer placement there, but I could be wrong. I think there's definitely different ways to play it. Spahi already on the board, though, Lidicor. Oof.
Yeah, one thing that you could do to try and chase this king away is trying to get some Sipahi out there, but it will take some time. It's being queued on the military school. First Vizier point coming up here for MarineLorD. You can see it on the right side of your screen. What do you reckon? What's going to be the pick here?
Probably sheep, right? Anatolian Hills seems to be the most solid one, I would think, because you're mining a lot of gold, and it gives you the gold bonus, right? Yeah,
Yep,
sheep.
there we go. Sheep spawn coming in here for MarineLorD. As the king swoops in. Nice reaction by MarineLorD. He even tried to body block this king with all the villagers he had. King banked up a little, as MarineLorD does have a lot of stone in the bank. He's up to 460. Second TC has just been placed on the gold mine. He still has some reserves to build some additional military schools with.
Yeah, that's going to make him quite cozy here. As we even see, yep, Landmark generating a comfortable 72 GPM, so the gold getting idled there isn't even a problem. The sheep, though, wow. What? Come on, Beasty. It's just a bystander. The sheep did nothing wrong there. That was such an unnecessary, classless move. Now, obviously, playing for competition makes sense. It's just, I get sad, man. The sheep, what did the sheep do wrong there?
He wasn't eaten in time, I guess.
Oh, longbows. Interesting. BC added ranges. Usually you might see spearmen here to defend against potential cavalry. Okay, so he's going to be going spearmen and longbows. This is extremely expensive, but something that's afforded to him by the fact that he isn't adding those farms, which is a style that some players do, some players don't. And the king goes down. Very little damage came from this. Ugh. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, Beasty is definitely changing things up here, and I think he's realizing that MarineLorD is also playing 2 TCs. So even if he brings in 2 or 3 spears and 2 or 3 longbows, suddenly he can harass MarineLorD a lot more. Now, it's going to be difficult to do because MarineLorD's base is very nice and compact. And with the king gone, you also don't have that tanky unit on the front line. He's going to be back, but it's going to take some time for Beasty until he gets to this more momentum-heavy position with this army. And now the first Sipahi's out already. MarineLorD, he's kind of pivoting away from the middle, though, here. I think Beasty's baiting him away, using the scout to pull the forces to the south so he can show up with the spears and the longbows.
Yeah, we'll see if this positioning plays out well for Beasty. If he does, this might be a bit of a surprise. Generally, when players go 2TC, English, you don't see this all the time, this massive commitment to feudal age. So we'll see if Beasty stops here at just like a couple of units to harass, force some walls, but we're even getting the forward tower, Lidicor. This is crazy, right?
Yeah, and this time around, I feel like MarineLorD is caught off guard by the aggression. That wasn't really the theme in the previous 2 games. This time around, he definitely is a little surprised about this. He's rushing up some walls to the left side. He does have 2 DCs, but it also means that he's depleting the sheep a little quicker. His berries are to the front, but most importantly, his wood line is to the front, and he doesn't have production buildings, Winston. He does have a military school, but that's awfully slow in terms of military production. Beasty's doubling down on this, and all that MarineLorD can do is try and intercept the reinforcements.
Yeah, and if Beasty's smart, though, he should only move longbow with Spahi already. So, move longbow with spearmen already, right? So, there's very little chance that Spahi and spearmen just suddenly kill a bunch of archers and spearmen. But we'll see. I mean, maybe Beasty will leave a gap that MarineLorD's able to exploit in that regard. We're going to see another tower, so creeping around the woodline, looking to dive in deep behind MarineLorD's base. Oh boy, this is getting spicy. Yeah. I mean, you talk about how MarineLorD doesn't have any production buildings, but if Ottomans can do one thing, it is produce units quickly, right?
That's true, and now he managed to rush up a bunch of production buildings. Beasty was focusing this wall, the longbowmen weren't harassing the lumberjacks. MarineLorD went up to 700, almost 800 wood per minute. So he managed to rush up this tower. He's almost killing this scout here from Beasty, and now he's got a couple of production buildings. But if this tower is completed for Beasty, it's going to be a pain for MarineLorD to deal with, especially with the battering ram on the way.
Yeah, Beasty planned to just bash here. He's coming to fight, so this is an all-in English play here. Longbow spear, the ram going to be pulled, and this is going to get interesting because the longbowmen are going to have a really comfortable spot to sit here on this wood line, meaning it's very unlikely that the Ram is just going to go down for free unless something drastically bad happens for Beasty here.
It's a lot of longbows, and you do have the network of castles buff here, so this is going to be tough, and you see MarineLorD knows that too. He's pulling away his villagers. Scout goes down for Beasty. He's going to be deprived of line of sight. He's trying to focus down the Matter. First volley connects with the Matter. Tower is going to be gone in a split second, though, and that's a bunch of villagers that will follow.
Yeah, this timing from Beasty just working out in his advantage, and now all these fancy production buildings that MarineLorD just built are going to start getting taken down. The reinforcements trying to get caught off guard, but the outpost here going to be giving them a little bit of an edge. Beasty going to retreat from this for now.
MarineLorD is housed. He lost houses. Beasty's focusing those down as MarineLorD is just trying to clean up this tower in front of his base. But at the same time, his production buildings are getting pushed. Beast's reinforcements are cut off for the time being. Tower is going to get cleaned up. Blacksmith upgrades on the way for both. Still, though, MarineLorD is being pressured so much inside his base, and this is by no means an all-in from Beasty. He's actually piling up resources for Castle Age.
Yeah, he could flex out of it if he really felt it was necessary, if he feels that MarineLorD overinvests in the defense, but I don't know, it feels like a castle might be a bit crazy right now. He doesn't have wheelbarrow, like, not everything is set up on his end. He doesn't have a farm transition, which means, like, a castle is going to hurt in terms of the eco, right? Although I think, as I say that, I think he just slapped down a lot of farms, so maybe we are going to see that Castle Age.
Yeah, he's actually pivoting to the south. He's looking for MarineLorD's villagers. Remember, he lost his scout, and that's where it starts to sting. I think he's looking for lumberjacks. He doesn't know that MarineLorD shifted all the way to the far right. So MarineLorD still has wood income. Beasty is looking to go to Castle Age, but because Beasty doesn't have that scout, he's struggling to find targets right now.
I think because Beasty is aiming for Castle Age, he's just trying to get his army home, right? He knows that MarineLorD has quickly pumped out a big army. This Ram more than paid for itself, right? That Ram was just a couple hundred res, and it's killed multiple buildings. It's actually still hair in the base of MarineLorD.
It's surprising MarineLorD isn't pulling units for this. He could have pulled villagers to take it out.
He doesn't know where the army is of Beasty.
Yeah.
He thinks that Beasty's still protecting this Ram, so he's coming for the fight, but Beasty has made it all the way home, so this is a bit of a bait and switch. The Castle Age coming in, White Tower going down defensively. Ooh, I love that positioning.
This is extremely dicey from Beasty, but I love the mind games, Winston. I agree with you. I think MarineLorD thought Beasty is still in his base, so Beasty snuck away, and MarineLorD is like, oh yeah, great, I cleaned this up. But by the time he arrives to Beasty's base, Beasty's going to have that white tower, and this is a very valuable white tower. It secures a large gold for him. He already walled the flanks. He actually has double layer walls on the left side. So it's going to be very difficult for MarineLorD to aggress Beasty's base. Silver lining for MarineLorD is that he himself is getting close to castle.
This is spicy stuff here, but we've seen it a lot. First person to click up is the first to die, Lidicore. MarineLorD going to be looking for the damage. It's going to be hard to find under the White Tower, but this is a lot of units. The White Tower can't do it all, but we'll see. Yeah. Maybe it'll be enough to hold.
And let's not forget, this is extremely important over here. Network of castles coming up. MarineLorD seeing the White Tower, he's going to flee. So let's not forget, Ottomans come online with time. They do have the military scores. So once MarineLorD starts to leverage the military scores, he's going to start outmassing Beasty over here. Veterancy on the longbows on the way. Beasty losing a little momentum over here as he has to make a farm transition.
Yeah, he did a bit of it before he clicked up, but now he needs to do it. The thing is, MarineLorD on the hunt also has to do a farm transition at some point. Right, but if he's able to maintain map control, he can delay that for a long time, and maybe even go imp, dare I say, before he has to do a serious farm transition. The relics, though, gonna get snagged. Remember, MarineLorD did take the Imam, the Vizier point, right? So he's able to grab some of these relics really quickly. Just a solo man-at-arm doing his best. Down he goes.
He's just kind of walking around. Man-at-arm switch coming in here from Beasty, getting the veterancy on those. He's also getting some Lancers going, and one thing that Beasty wasn't really doing is harass that right flank from MarineLorD. So MarineLorD is getting away with all that hunt being taken on the right side without any kind of a pressure on him.
Yeah, and let's not forget that MarineLorD made a really good play when he garrisoned his outpost. He immediately targeted the scout. And then as soon as the scout died, we saw him go to the hunt, right? He knew the damage had been done in terms of the vision and information game to Beasty. And so I think MarineLorD had played a really smart game here, and even playing defensively there with the 2 outposts, but I don't think he even needed those. Like, I don't think this is going to get spotted anytime soon. I say that as I think a unit just showed up. Never mind, I lied. That's really funny.
Beasty isn't picking up relics just yet. He's got 1 monk out there, but he's yet to pick up the first relic. You were right, there is a knight out there, but MarineLorD has 2 towers, so this knight isn't going to do much. MarineLorD behind this already has the 2nd relic on the way home. And this knight, he's going to at least see these villagers running out of wood. Crossbows will focus it down. So there's already a couple of crossbows out from MarineLorD as a preemptive counter to the men-at-arms and the knights.
Yeah, but MarineLorD, his techs are fine, but beasties are just kind of chilling right now too. Like, I think pretty equal standing. The siege is on the way. MIA kind of coming in. The first mangonel should be in soon. I think in another 30 seconds or so, maybe a minute. Interesting game state. Looks like things are going to slow down. We might have some skirmishes over the gold sources, meaning the relics and the sacred sites here.
Longbows using their range over here, trying to pick off those approaching units. Metter is buffing this army here. Sipahi on the way as well. Spearmen there to meet it. Manatan's also providing the front line here, and MarineLorD is yet to add his crossbows to this army as a monk went down south. Beasty trying to get some relics for himself. First mangonel rolls out of the Imperial Armory though, and again, military scores are now in full production for MarineLorD. So you should expect that military count to start rising for him. Monk gets intercepted here as well, so Beasty will remain on a 0 relics.
And some pressure coming in here. This is the first mangonel from the MIA, so potentially it could go down. Beasty though sniping the hurt vills. Some units get caught in the middle from MarineLorD. Oh, what a spicy situation here. I think something that's going to be really impactful is that BC was able to get a white tower in the middle of the map. I think usually you have to build a white tower to defend your eco when you do these greedy plays, but because MarineLorD was also a bit slower and not dealing well with the pressure initially, I think that the fact that this tower is here is going to be really meaningful to the mid game. And if we go late, it's going to be critical because this means the Berkshire doesn't need to go here. The Berkshire could maybe go further to the right, where there seems to be 5 8Ks kind of clustered around the center of the map there, or the Berkshire could come even further forward. And with this macro setup, BC has to start thinking about where his Imperial Liege is going to go. You know, English, one of those civs, right lid core, they can go in with 90, 100 villagers and feel totally fine for a long time.
Yeah, and you do get a massive eco buff upon going into Imperial for your farming eco and enclosures. So there is a lot of legitimacy in going into Imperial here, especially if the game is kind of stalled out like this, both players just digging in. MarineLorD is going to have the majority of the relics under his control, and the final one down south is also going to be his. So the relic split is going to be 4-1, partially offset by the English passive gold income from the farms. But as you kind of highlighted, the longer this game goes, the more this game is going to be about those resource deposits mid-map. The gold, or even more importantly, the wood. Looking at 2 civilizations that both use a lot of wood with their late-game compositions.
Yeah, BC just trying to crawl forward now. Looks like he's trying to aim for some sort of fight. MarineLorD added a trebuchet, so it's going to be pretty good at denying some of these forward outposts, but it's kind of a spicy choice, actually. I think that Treb is interesting. It will deny the tower, the outpost crawl, but there are already Springholds on the field here.
Just poking and prodding back and forth, both players building up forces, both of them approaching the 200 pop mark, and once you get to 200 population, that's where you can start thinking about pulling the trigger on Imperial Age. Secret site was captured on the right side by MarineLorD. Men at Arms show up, and this way, Beasty is also going to find all these gold miners here. Just 2 men-at-arms harassing, but it's definitely annoying for MarineLorD.
Yeah, he's going to have to pull some units over there, and at the same time, Beasty going to be diving in. The King leading the charge valiantly, looking for the siege. He's running in. He says, I will deal with you. Oh my god. It's so, like,
this
cinematic.
Is actually very cool. The King is very tanky. You can dive in, snipe those Springalds. MarineLorD, beautiful micro trying to save the Springald. He was running out of wood, but the King dies. And with that Springald still alive, Beasty thinks twice about this when he's still posturing in front of the enemy base. Springald count 3-4. Beasty just wants this tower up though for the buff. Springolds.
So the A move doesn't work.
The first volley, mangonel goes down. front line pushing in now here for Beasty. Springles straight off against one another, but the Spearmen are just butchering all these Sipahi. And Beasty, he's looking strong over here. Springles taking out the siege coming in from Beasty, though Mangonel does land a good shot before it gets taken out. And now the Man-at-Arms are pushing deeper and deeper. Beasty does cancel the tower, though, decides to fall back altogether.
Yeah, he got a couple raids in the meantime, but yeah, the fight didn't go great for him. It looks like he got accidentally caught on this A move where all of his Springolds took a shot at the Spahi, and the Mangonel started unpacking in front of the Spahi, so he immediately lost the siege battle there. But what was important was that instead of trying to win the Springold war, BC just traded his Springolds for the enemy Mangonels, and that kind of saved the fight a bit for a bit. And we'll see if that is meaningful here as we start looking for Imperial Age from either player. Oh, what
This
a
is
raid!
massive, though.
Where did these come from?
Yeah, these guys just somehow snuck into the enemy base, and now this is going to be a pain for MarineLorD. Has to flee with all these villagers. He's going to lose a couple, but it's more about the idle time. And as you highlighted, Springolds were traded. Beasty is building up a massive force of rams, and one thing that you don't really have for MarineLorD beyond those Springolds is torching power. Those Men-at-Arms can steamroll his base. At the same time, Beasty's also thinking about the Imperial here. Traders got caught in this crossfire as well. Oh, these guys are accomplishing so much here, Winston, and they're pulling all these troops here from MarineLorD. Beasty now looking to take out this keep to the right side, also thinking about the Imperial.
Berkshire. I think he wants to bait the army in, and we could either see a Berkshire up front and personal, would be really aggressive and crazy, but I think more Beasty style would be on the sacred site on the right here, right? Covering all the gold in the wood, right?
And I love this little raid. It's also distracting some troops from MarineLorD. Actually, quite a lot of troops are being distracted. I think Berkshire is on the way. Imperial coming in for Beasty, and at the same time, he's unleashing his army on the right side. MarineLorD doesn't have forces to defend here. This keep could go down without Imperial being here even for Beasty. A lot of army momentum, and there's no way that MarineLorD is going to stop that Berkshire.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. More traders meet their end. Trebuchet on the right side means that it's not going to be on the Berkshire. I don't care how you say it. It's going to be awesome. Beasty pushing in the Rams on the keep. The army from MarineLorD coming in from behind now. Springold's in position. Is he here to save the keep in time?
Oh, so many villagers fall, though. This is already 22 eco kills here for Beasty. Looks like the castle MarineLorD is looking to save it. Villagers have been committed for the repairs. The stone is gone. MarineLorD is out of stone, and he cannot repair the keep. Springgold slowly focusing on the rams. He had to buy some stone to keep this alive. He does keep the keep alive, but still, Beasty is the one reaching Imperial here. And he also started to have that countdown on the sacred site. Beasty just all over the map over here with the Berkshire, the sacred sites in his army.
Yeah, and look at the Vil kills now, 24. And it's not the most meaningful damage at this stage, but it adds up. It means that MarineLorD, he's going to have to reinvest into his economy before he can really get that click. And you do see that meaningful difference in their Imperial times, whereas the macro was pretty similar beforehand. We did talk about how MarineLorD had a slower farm transition, but I mean, hey, you're playing against English, you're going to have a slower farm transition. But now we're talking about a couple minutes of Imperial Age timings here. We're going to be getting some Springolds and cannon emplacements. We're getting elite Man-at-Arms. We're getting the ranged upgrade. The Springold upgrade is coming in, and we're about to enter CGQD territory.
Stonewall's coming in on the left side as well by Beasty. He's also making a ram here. I think he just wants to confine his opponent. Actually, it's MarineLorD Stonewalls. For a moment, I thought his villagers are here to Stonewall this, but guess what? MarineLorD does have a tower, and he's looking to break through here. So some Men-at-Arms on the way as well. Meanwhile, traders are coming in here for MarineLorD. He's got 10 traders on the field. Stonewalls coming in from him as well. Villagers have to be sacrificed for this one, as Beasty is looking to push in with his Imperial Age army. MarineLorD is yet to get the imp upgrades.
A raid in the right corner as well. Beasty's everywhere. Beasty's on the left. Beasty's on the right. He is not out of this tournament, boys. He is here to try and hold on to the series. This is looking really good for Beasty, I feel like. I'd be... What is MarineLorD's win condition? Right, bombards, and I guess that's it, right? Just hope on what eco.
MarineLorD needs gold, and when you look at his access to gold, he basically has that one large gold vein that is near depleted. And at the same time, he's been harassed on the gold mine for so long. Beasty's controlling most of the gold available on this map, and now he's looking to get some walls up in here as well. He's trying to just block that market to the down south. That's the market that MarineLorD is trading to, and look at all these chaotic walls, just trying to make life miserable here for MarineLorD.
Yeah, this is super spicy at this stage. Another bombarding queue. Beasty queuing up hand cannons as well. Smelling blood in the water is going for that late game gold heavy composition. Is going to be going for maybe a killing blow soon down the middle. He does have the sprinkled upgrade. Does MarineLorD have it? I'm not sure if we saw him grab that. This could get interesting down the center.
MarineLorD has to shift most of his eco to the right side over here. So that's the clear target for Beasty.
Not looking!
As he moves in. Beautiful picks, no retaliation from MarineLorD. I'm not even sure if MarineLorD has the range upgrade, and that could be detrimental in the Springboard War. Villagers fall. Walls are being built to prevent the complete stonewalling here. Military schools being targeted down, and that is 20 or so elite men-at-arms marching in. MarineLorD should have the army to deal with this, but you just don't see them in his base right now.
They were defending in the south corner. Look at this trail of
There's an
units
opening,
coming back
okay?
to defend. And all of the economy for MarineLorD is now on the right, and BC looks like he was trying to cut off the trade once again, moving in, this time with crossbows. The man-at-arms not going to be enough to defend here just alone. Even a monk joining the fray. He's like, I will show you the way, brothers. And Beasty comes punching down the center. The bombards uncontested from MarineLorD at all. What can MarineLorD do here? Oh, the great bombarded placement. It takes a shot, says I got something to say.
It's the food eco though, Winston. MarineLorD's food eco is catastrophic. He never had that big farm buildup, and he starts losing villagers left and right here. Production buildings going down as well. He's just being ripped to shreds here by Beasty, despite the fact that Beasty only has 40 army on the field right now.
Well, we'll see. 50 Vil kills gonna be the number soon. If I actually think Beasty needs to target down this MIA, right? Because you know great bombards are coming. Like MarineLorD's been in for a while.
Surprise once again. Beasty's up to 50 eco kills against just 3 on the opposing side. And now the villagers run past the keep! Oh my lord! MarineLorD didn't have the Stonewall scouted. He just right-clicked to build his keep here. But this way, his villagers run into the castle fire. He has now lost 60 eco in this game.
Wow. And the boar's aggroed in. Oh my gosh. Oh my
No
God.
way! The boar is aggroed!
The boar's aggroed in the woodline, and the keeps don't automatically defend you there. And the siege comes rolling in. The Mehmeda Armory is maybe under duress here in just a moment. Oh, this game is crazy, dude.
And Beasty's banking up resources, classic Beasty style. He doesn't have an overwhelming army right now. His army pop is actually very underwhelming. But behind this, he's just stripping the map barren of gold. Look at all those gold mines. Beasty's swarming the gold mines closest to MarineLorD. He just wants to starve his opponent out of gold.
Oh man. The Great Bombard though is out now. This is the win condition for MarineLorD. It can look really good for Ottomans if they can get up to 4 or 5 of those. And Beasty did prep Springholds, but only 5 of them isn't quite enough to kill everything. And for all the raids, for all the attacks, MarineLorD as held up until this point. He is still popped, has more military on the field than Beasty, so Beasty gonna have to utilize the Berkshire or his defensive situation here, because MarineLorD is stabilized. He's coming.
Exactly. I think this is one of the big things. MarineLorD's eco is not great, to say the least. His food eco especially, it's catastrophic. But at the same time, he does have a powerful army to work with. No matter to buff it with, but he does have mangonels. He's got 3 more Great Bombards in queue. So in a direct engagement, he could still be very much competitive against Beasty. Beasty, who now has all 3 Sacred Sites under his control. He's just saying, listen, if you're not coming out of your base, I will take the Sacred Sites and I will force you out of it. As a raid comes in on the right side, MarineLorD's army is in the middle. He's got nothing that defends against those men-at-arms.
Yeah, and it's gonna come down to the siege micro, right? Oh, the archers here gonna find some damage.
Nice value. Very good value. First time that MarineLorD is getting any kind of eco damage done, actually.
Yeah, literally the first, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Oh man, this defensive structure. I'm sorry.
And you know, I just want to say, at the same time, he's also losing his own wills. At the very least, one thing that you need to credit MarineLorD for is that he stayed above the water in terms of villager count. He's steady 110, 115, despite the fact that he's being raided over and over again.
Yeah, it's a big eco sink, and something they have to keep in mind is the space and the resources. We talked about it at the start. This map, when you get to these late game situations, not having map control means no wood. And I think MarineLorD just chopped out the right side completely. And so now he needs to use his army to secure some more wood, right? He needs to grab the wood on the right or on the left, because he's only got a little bit left.
It's crucial that MarineLorD is trading. It is so crucial, because he's not going to have any mineable gold available. Beasty's taking all the gold across the map, and to be fair, he's playing in classic Beasty style, strong on the eco and just piling up an infinite amount of resources. 10,000 food in the bank, 5,000 gold as well. A little late with the stone walls here though, trying to just block this little swing to the left. Wall will be broken through. Great Bombard also arrives here. This is what MarineLorD needs to do, I feel. He needs to start actually hammering down on Beasty's defenses.
Yeah, and he's finally here. The army is forward once again. We'll see, though, hand cannon's going to be the option here for Beasty. So his army might be smaller, but 28 hand cannons on the field with network of castles, it's going to be stronger.
And it's 8 springalds as well. He has anti-siege. I think that's the key piece for him. He's facing great bombards and mangonels with just hand cannoneers. That's not going to cut it. But if you have that overwhelming amount of anti-siege, you can take out these valuable siege weapons from MarineLorD.
Yeah, and BC's kind of got to be eyeing up this army. MarineLorD put himself in a really interesting position. The bombards coming forward, the springles as well. Mangonels take their shots,
here.
Bombards take a hit. It's not the biggest hit.
Springald's now focusing on the bombards on the back line here. Village is getting caught in the crossfire as well. Hand Cannoneer standing their crown. It looks like it's just going to be a full reset. Behind this, Sacred Site countdown still going on. 7.5 minutes left over here. Beasty is struggling for wood though. He is down to just 600 per minute, no wood bank to work with, and he needs it so badly to get more Springalds out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull some vills off of the farms, maybe. I think you have enough food for a bit of time. But we'll see there. The army from MarineLorD once again remaxed, looking for the fight. Beasty, though, this time has more military population with a much more expensive army in the center of the field. If you ignore that great bombards are just extremely pricey.
Do have 8 Springalds out for Beasty. Those are the key instruments of victory here. He does have the network of castles buff as well, focusing on the siege weapons on the back line. Springolds are being traded. Mangonels opening fire though. Beautiful hits by MarineLorD, decimating all these hand cannoneers. Springolds still trading against each other, but the great bombards live and stand. Beasty holding his ground.
The Mangonels
pulling back the Springolds. Mangonels still firing from the back line, and Beasty is having his troops butchered. Massive resource bank available for him though. He is remassing so quickly, and it's MarineLorD who falls back once again. Sacred Site countdown down to 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, both players there kind of had an unideal siege micro, but in the end, MarineLorD definitely came out on top with that. But we'll see if he loses these bombards, it's a huge loss. But he's got enough to force the Springalds back. They take their pot shots. One will go down. That's a huge economic loss here for MarineLorD. He does have plenty of resources banked though, so.
Exactly. And as much as we talked about Beasty's resource bank, it was impressive a couple of minutes ago. He does not have wood. MarineLorD, in the meantime, he's got a very nice and balanced eco to work with. Hand cannoneers are being sent in here to try and take out the bombards, though bombards cannot flee because of the lack of a gate. Another great bombard goes down. The last one will be saved by the villagers repairing, although it's being
they're blocking.
Oh, it's gonna fall back just in time, though. So close was Beasty to sniping it out.
Okay, it does. Timer down to 5 minutes, Lidcorp. The game is progressing, and still in Beasty's favor with these trades. MarineLorD down to only 20 military. He's gonna have to remax quickly here. Remember, he did lose a few of his middle schools at the start of the push from Beasty, right?
Yeah, he did lose some military schools, and Beasty still has this opportunity to harass the trade. MarineLorD is out of mineable gold. If this market goes down to that ram, it's so bad for MarineLorD.
Bombard's got something to say about that. Takes one shot, and the army is definitely in a in ideal situation. 2 bombers on the right, also taking care of this wall, going to push into the keep now.
You can take this. You can take the sacred site for MarineLorD. So easy.
Well, we'll see. It takes a little bit of time.
Sacred site countdown down to 4.5 minutes, but the keep is being targeted down over here. Beasty's looking to push MarineLorD to the south, however, and he's up to 34 men-at-arms, 21 hand cannoneers. He kind of replaced all that population taken up by the siege with actual infantry. Now the men-at-arms are coming in. Beasty doesn't have any repair power over here. He ramp up south men-at-arms, looking to dive on the bombards though. First bombard gets focused out. Second one is going to get pushed away as well, but the keep is gone. Sacred site countdown still going on for Beasty, and it's turning into a legitimate win condition now.
Yeah, the Springolds are in position though. They came through the gate, sneaky. 2 bombards going down, that's huge. They did kill the keep, but oh man. MarineLorD under pressure here. He's got to figure something out.
Running out of gold. Great bombards are awfully expensive, and he lost so many of them with little gold income. Now the men-at-arms head into the farming eco. Most of them are getting caught in the crossfire. At this point, I wonder if this is just a diversion by Beasty though. He wants that sacred site win, I feel.
Yeah, he's bunkering down. The hardest thing is going to be there's bombards on the right still. So MarineLorD could push once again on that rightmost sacred site. It feels like that's where Beasty's going to have the hardest time diving. And now he's going to be diving here. As once again, the trade going to be the focus from Beasty economically. Wait, he actually has their units on the right as well. Wait, what? Oh, those have just been there. Right, those guys. Those lads.
MarineLorD lost some eco here. That will all be replaced by traders. And oh my, Ram being sent in here. It's going to be very short-lived. Keep is being rebuilt by Beasty though. These raids are buying him time to rebuild that keep as we're down to 3 minutes.
It's funny, Lidicor, you said MarineLorD lost some eco. That's kind of the story of this game, wouldn't you say?
That's true. 106 eco kills. And MarineLorD is still struggling with gold. His trade has been harassed for a while, and you know, when you're so desperate for gold, you send 40 villagers to gold mine and you just quickly get yourself 3,000 gold. That's not an option for him anymore. He doesn't have any mineable gold available. And the problem with the traders, especially when you have like 16 of them or so, that gold comes in batches. He needs to wait so much until he gets that drop-off of gold.
BC needs to get his units to the sacred site. It's going to be a fight for this. The Great Bombard's going to start knocking away at the walls. The Springolds in the back. There's plenty of them to defend, but they're not able to shoot.
Springolds rolling through the gates over here will start focusing down the enemy heavy siege. Nice little flank from Beasty from the south starts taking out the siege weapons with the Springolds. Springold trading off over here. Frontline for Beasty, mostly gone. Hand cannoneers holding their ground, but the anti-siege from Beasty is gone, and the bombards are still standing. Sacred site countdown down to 2 minutes here. Beasty sending in more reinforcements, but the army count is just rising so quickly for MarineLorD. Mangonel shot will be dodged here by the crossbows, and MarineLorD is so close to decapping the sacred site. Bombards now opening fire on the keep.
But they have to choose between the Springolds or the keep. The Springolds moving in on the right. The sacred site will be contested. One of the Great Bombards goes down. Lidicor, I think MarineLorD wasn't able to do it. I thought for a moment he had it, but he's gonna have to retreat here. Oh
and
my
Beasty
gosh.
is still holding. One of the best defensive players in this game is still holding on, and now the bombards have to flee to the right side. MarineLorD doesn't have a lot of gold to work with. He cannot afford to lose these, and Beasty is chasing relentlessly. He's been trying to starve his opponent out of gold throughout this entire game. Bombards will be safe, but that sacred site countdown is so close. Only 90 seconds remain.
1 minute and 30 seconds. Beasty has 7 Springolds on the field. The odds of MarineLorD being able to remax on siege and have enough units to hold under all of this fire from Beasty feels really low to me.
And Beasty's just trying to buy a little bit more time with these buffers. Palisade walls here will be short-lived, but he has a remask. He's up to 11 Springolds. He is just now playing full CGQD mode. We're down to just a minute on the countdown. 6 springboards for MarineLorD, 11 for Beasty. Is pushing up with the buff of network of citadels, starting to pick off the siege weapons from the backline. Units
Great
from
micro.
MarineLorD sent on the sacred side. First bombard goes down, second bombard now being focused down. MarineLorD springboards are gone and the countdown is still going on. The final bombard is not being focused by Beasty, it's still there. One more volley is what Beasty needs. The bombard is gone. 40 seconds left and Beasty does have reinforcements trickling in here. MarineLorD looks like he's going to get repelled.
Yeah, he's done it. Unless there's a sneak attack on the left here that we're missing. We do see some pings on the left. I don't think that's relevant, but with only 28 seconds left on the clock, he's not going to be able to do it here. The raids on the left, this 1 minute arm, not going to be enough. Wow, Beasty's done it.
Offense is the best defense, says Beasty, pushing away all those enemies. 15 seconds on the sacred side countdown. Beasty, he's not going to give up on this series easily. He's looking to secure his first game win in the grand finals, and what a way to do it. An absolute slugfest of a Hill and Dale game, one off the back of sacred sites. Beasty is now on the board.
What a game, Lidicor. Honestly, I felt like MarineLorD, at times there, he showed some signs of life and imp. I got a little nervous from BC's perspective, right? Where it looked like MarineLorD had stabilized, he had his win condition going, but Beasty was able to trade out the Springolds and the Siege just enough in 3 fights in a row that MarineLorD was never able to really get anything going. And I think you were saying it perfectly. Out of gold, and he kept having to reinvest in the trade, which did start paying for itself, but then suddenly you have to pay for more trade with the trade income, right? It's kind of a vicious cycle that kept repeating because Beasty kept pummeling MarineLorD on those 2 corners. He just kept really aggressively going on those markets.
Well, that takes us back to the drafting screen here, courtesy of our sponsor, Surfshark. Let's take a look at the Surfshark map draft here as we're getting ready for game number 4. And a map choice for game number 4 is going to be Holy Island. Beasty does have the Chinese, one of the best water map civilizations out there. And on the other side, MarineLorD is in command of the Rus. And I think this is where we have to go back to that initial discussion we had, with Beasty being extremely water heavy with his Civ picks. Now we are starting to see some water maps come in. The only true land map that's still available is Coastal Cliffs.
Yeah, but on Holy Island, China has always been a viable Civ. It's always worked well. They're a great water civ. They're excellent on a hybrid map like this. This is probably one of China's better maps, right? Is Holy Island. So I think Rus here, they've been dominant for a long time for a lot of different reasons, right? Lidicor, it's hard to pressure them. They can have a really good rush on the water. If your build is tight and clean, you can really just run away with the game quickly. But I mean, Beasty on his signature China after a big win on English. I don't know. I kind of feel like I favor China here.
You would love to have another game and just make this series a very, very competitive one. One thing that we have to say is that this was a hard-fought victory for Beast in a previous game. He definitely had to fight tough for it. MarineLorD wasn't giving that very easily to him. This is only the 3rd game that MarineLorD has dropped in the entire tournament.
Yeah, finally it's happening, right? I mean, you know, it's always exciting to see someone play on an excellent level, but you want competition, right? We don't want MarineLorD blowing out every single series all the way through to the end, right? We always root for a game 9, especially in these grand finals today.
Well, remaining maps will be Kawasan, Coastal Cliffs, Moving Out, Archipelago, and Fort Lakes. And we still have Japanese and Delhi available for MarineLorD beyond this game, and OOTD plus the Abbasids for Beasty. I really feel like Beasty would love to have Archipelago as the next game. OOTD would be such a wonderful pick out there, or alternatively, we could see Abbasids on a map like Kawasan. And MarineLorD still has a Kawasan civilization as well, that is the Japanese. Delhi is a bit of a wild card here, though, so I'm actually curious how that's going to go for him.
But after this game, guaranteed we get a redraft, right? So full reset on all the civs, right? But we keep the maps, right? Okay.
That is correct, because otherwise we would run out of civilizations. But we're not there just yet. After 2 victories from MarineLorD, Beasty is now on the board as we'll be heading into game number 4.
Let's see it, Lidicor, man. Has this series been delivering or what?
it has been a monstrosity so far. Truly worthy of a grand finals, as we do have Beasty with the Chinese in yellow facing off against MarineLorD with the Roost in pink. A classic competitive map. Holy Island it is. Water is the official category, but you could have some land aggression coming in from either of these players here.
Certainly. I mean, that's kind of why China has been so good here. Is they have the dock work rate, so they're really good at holding defensive water positions, and they can obviously play offensively. But why they're strong on this map in particular is they play offensively on the water initially, then they just back up and go for some castle timing, right? And they hope that their production bonus and their massive economy behind this is able to kind of support it. And then if their food is not disrupted, you can just do Palace Guard spam. We've seen a lot of Palace Guard B crossbow from every China player on this map. That's kind of like one of the go-to compositions. You can mix in some Lancers and some Spearmen as needed, but we'll see. We also have our wonderful observers pointing out that MarineLorD did surpass 80 bounty, so we do not need the song, folks. We do not need it. Not needed. No 80 bounty.
Well, to be fair, he didn't make 3 scouts to get the 80 bounty, so it's not really a true comparison, so to say.
What? I made 3 freaking scouts? It's a banger of a song, honestly.
One of the cool things to think about, doing these grand finals is that you have a bunch of new people out here and they have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. All I'm just going to say is that this is probably the #1 meme of the community, the scene. MarineLorD and 80 bounty, that's just something that became legendary.
Yeah, he basically dropped a really, really funny quote when he invested in 3 scouts, only got up to 80 bounty, and he was just like, what? And then he just kind of went on a little mini rant about how that was annoying, and yeah, that got turned into a big song. It's a thing. It's just a thing. It's really fun. I love this community, man. It's so awesome.
A bit of a scuffle between the scouts over here. Beasty still trying to just deny that bounty away. I love how the sheep are just like, yeah, you guys just do this thing, we'll follow you no matter what.
There are a lot of 80 bounties on the screen right now. That is crazy. Okay. Moving on. That was very distracting for me. I was like, ooh. Oh, man. We have last game was so tense all the time. It's kind of nice almost to go back to Dark Age, reset, right, Litakor? Think about the placement of the landmarks, because we do see the Kremlin coming down on the right side here.
Yeah, classic Kremlin out here. Interesting positioning. It's obviously going to buff that front wood line, something that players usually go for when it does spawn. But it doesn't really protect anything else, so it's kind of that necessary evil that comes from the map generation. Speaking of which, I've just realized how Beasty's golds are all clustered together, and that's going to be a great target for MarineLorD to work with.
Yeah, we'll see. The Barbican should be there early, so at least defending the southernmost of the triangle of gold. So hopefully that doesn't become a Bermuda Triangle for Beasty, where everything goes disaster. I think it'll be okay with the Barbican. All right, and let's see. A big sheep drop from both players, so not a huge win either side of this. Of course, water going to be the main focus of the players initially, and we do have MarineLorD executing on the classic Rus rush. Their Logia fishing boat can convert into a military ship, and so you go right up close and personal, and you convert as soon as you're up.
Second dock all the way in the corner over here for Beasty. Nice little fallback option for his fishing. Bit of a harassment being done here by MarineLorD. Dock will finish in time. Imperial Academy is the landmark of choice. No surprise about that for Beasty. It's going to be nice and tight. It's going to buff. Does it actually have the gold mine under its influence?
Not sure, but we're looking and looks like Beasty might be getting the short end of a couple trades. He's not going to win that one. Not going to win the water. At least initially. No ships out yet for Beasty. Aging up a little casually with just 4 on the Academy. Of course, you are China, so it's built much quicker, but wow, even right away, not quite able to afford a ship even.
Yeah, this is one of the more unique maps in terms of the water meta, because unlike some of the other maps like Archipelago or Four Lakes, dare I say, on these maps, if you have a contested portion of the water, you're going to have naval combat very quickly. But here, the distance to cover between the docks of the 2 players is massive, so oftentimes players just end up playing a little bit more defensive, like Beasty is doing right now. He's being harassed a little, but just falls back into his docks, and he's going to open with a war junk and play a little bit more defensive.
Yeah, actually, there's a little detail here that I think Beasty did that's really, really cool. He built the two docks really far away from each other, right? So his one dock is almost on the edge of the map, and the other one is basically as far left as you can reasonably put it and still get deep fish. And the purpose of this, if I'm assuming correctly, is he thought, okay, if one ship comes, he can only idle one dock at a time. Usually you see players build their docks a bit closer together, and then that just means the Loggia gets more value because it's able to deny both deep fish. But here, you kind of saw Beasty jumping in and out of both docks, and I think that kind of play was really, it's those little details that really elevate, a great player from the best, right?
Indeed, it is. Double broad axe on the way first for Beasty. First Loggia war galley coming out as well for MarineLorD. But yeah, you can just look at the little dots on the minimap, and it just tells you how defensive these players are playing over here. MarineLorD looking to scout this gold mine. He pulled the militia, so he might be looking to put some pressure on these villagers out here. But besides that, neither of the players seem to commit a lot in terms of naval power.
And these units are on a timer, but they can deal meaningful damage in a pinch here. And the gold might get idled out here, but that shouldn't be the biggest deal. That shouldn't stop production. Beasty can always drop off some taxes. And yeah, this is... kind of a curious position here for Beasty. It looks like he's trying to eye up Song Dynasty. And Gremlins are in. I think Roos just is happy with the current state of things. And even pulling again the Gremlins, so MarineLorD just using them off cooldown to be annoying. This villager running to the coast is going to get doinked. Oh no, the Spearman, sorry. The Gremlin. You know what I mean?
And they won't have much time left on them once they arrive. But now, you can start to see the plan here for MarineLorD. He's pushing this gold mine, so Beasty is going to leave the gold mine. But because of that, Beasty doesn't have a lot of gold to spend on ships. In fact, the tower is going to be committed to on the wood line. Militia's trying to harass this. Beasty does lose one villager to this before he starts fighting back. A lot of idle time on him, plus a villager lost, and at the same time, his fishing boats are getting pushed. Oh my lord. Beasty being pushed away from that gold mine now means that he doesn't have a lot of combat ships to work with.
Yeah, nothing in cube, no demos, which is your big threat to these hulks moving forward. Without any demos, it kind of feels futile to even try and fight on the water at times, right? You kind of need the full triangle to have a full force. And MarineLorD with a second demo already in queue, you can just see the economic advantage here. Beasty did invest in Wheelbarrow, and he has invested in 2 IOs, but on the counter side of that, MarineLorD has buffed wood income. And I think a better fishing economy right now. Well, I'm not
yeah, he's got a lot of fishing boats to work with, and remember, those fishing boats don't have to travel back to the dock to drop off the fish, so that's a lot of added efficiency.
And here's the engagement, the demos coming around the back side of the fight. MarineLorD pushing in. Does he dare to push too far?
Beasty only has one galley to work with, needs to snipe out that demo. There's a dock right next to this position here. Beasty could jump in with his own demo. Now, Loggia demo's moving in. First one gets picked off. The second one is being focused out as well. Gets taken out. Beasty's demo is moving in here. He's holding it back until the galleys are gone. His own galley is now popping out of that dock. And Winston, I think one of the big things here with Beasty's docks is that he always has that surprise potential to just spawn a demo at your back.
Yeah, especially with the production speed bonus of China, right? It just even faster, right? So we'll see, though. Beasty not quite up to a position where he's like able to really like rush a castle, but MarineLorD honestly is getting closer at 400 food. If he doesn't invest in any land military, which we might see from him, we might not. I'm not exactly sure what he's planning. But up to almost 600 food now, he could start eyeing up a castle age, which, generally you don't advise rushing castle. Oh, and the Phil's popping. But because usually if you go castle first, you just get attacked. But on this kind of map, oftentimes you can get away with it. So we'll see. What a spicy sitch.
Yeah, I love this defensive tower, but we need to add how much value MarineLorD is getting out of these militias. He forced 2 defensive towers from his opponent, and he's still able to force a bunch of idle time. These are just so valuable for MarineLorD here with little investment, actually.
And it looked like for a moment there, Beasty was considering Song, which would have kind of saved him a lot of the wood here, but those gremlins came in and did a decent bit of damage. Yeah, no castles. Players just playing for the full feudal here. Got to get the navy going. MarineLorD a little behind in the ship count, it looks like. It's a trade between hulks and demos, I guess.
And wars are up on the right side here from Beasty. Big investment, wants to make sure it doesn't get surprised from the other side. 3 demos on each side. Hulk counts looking better here for Beasty, looking to snipe out those galleys on the back line, but with the demos approaching, he's gonna fall back. Demos getting awfully close over here. Beasty is summoning his own galleys, looking to snipe out the demos. Nice dodges by MarineLorD. MarineLorD still dodging with the demos. Still no connection. The final demo is going to close in, damages 1 Hawk, but is unable to sink the rest. Beasty coming in with a demo flank. He's got multiple demos on the way. Galley count still looking healthy for MarineLorD, though, so Beasty's gonna fall back.
Yeah, that was in exchange for some ships against some demos, and I think that's a trade MarineLorD wants to take, actually. Because I think it's a bit easier to replace the demos at this stage for both players' economies. So MarineLorD, Beasty having like 6 demos still, like, does he really want to add more and risk getting countered really quickly by just a few demos or some well-positioned shots from MarineLorD's airships?
Both players are now stacking up resources. Beasty could think about Song Dynasty now, or he could be thinking about Castle Age. MarineLorD is also getting a lot of food in. So I feel like, especially if the water stalls out, we could see either of these players trying to get to Castle.
Yeah. Oh, man. Even pulling some vills for the repairs. Beasty desperately understanding that if he loses a fight on the water at this stage, that MarineLorD's navy is big enough to just win the fight on the sea and take out the docks. Oh boy.
These militias
again.
Are so
in a vill.
Aggressive.
Just using them off cooldown, right? Just constantly spamming them in. This is one of the reasons Rus is so feared on so many maps.
And look at the investment Beasty needs to make. He needs to keep walling because of how oppressive all these militias are. And remember, every time you're distracted on land like that, there's a chance for your opponent to jump you on water. That's exactly what MarineLorD is thinking about. Getting closer with the ships. Needs to respect these docks, though. Beasty could jump in anytime. He's got 2 demos in queue. Demo flank coming in, but MarineLorD sniffs this out, and he's hunting for these demos. So much value out there for MarineLorD.
That's actually massive, catching 2 for free like that, kind of predicting the flank, but now we're going to have a big engagement here. Does MarineLorD stay? No, looks like he's going to back.
Demo from MarineLorD looking to connect, unable to do so with the galleys out there. That is a lot of demos from Beasty, though. He's up to 9 demos compared to now 9 as well from MarineLorD. MarineLorD has a couple of his demos on the way, though. He's trying to jump. Beasty here does get a beautiful connection. First time that either of these players are able to connect with demos.
Yeah, I mean, Beasty was just caught on a right click. He was moving forward and didn't A-move correctly, so that it just came in just at the right timing. But now the demo's looking to flank both sides. They've gone for split positions. We're not going to get a demo explosion in the middle.
Oh my lord!
Both players full commit, full send.
Fireworks all around, but both players are able to save their ballista ships. Some crazy dodges needed from either player.
Yeah, both players just barely keeping their fleets alive. Beasty looks like he got the worst end of that with MarineLorD's damage dealt. Still really significant here as the gremlins come in once again off cooldown, constantly forcing idle time on that woodline. Constantly forcing Beasty to just look there and think about that. And you know MarineLorD just has it like... He's just training him and just sending it. He's just right-clicking them into there and hoping.
It's not even the eco damage at this point. It's simply the distraction.
The mental.
Demos
and we have a fight
to connect here. Beasty's holding back his own. He's down to just 5 demos. He does have a lot of front docks over here for quick production. And a lot of the ships here are very much banged up here for MarineLorD, looking to connect with the demo. Does get snapped down once again. Bit of a spin to win, both on the left and the right.
The demos are committing
to connect now, and that is a beautiful push by Beasty. Now snaps out a couple of demos as well, repels MarineLorD's aggression, but fleet count is still much, much higher here for MarineLorD, as the Frenchman is also looking to get up to Castle Age.
And now the ships for MarineLorD pushing in. He's got enough res for the Castle Age. But we'll see if that turns out to be a mistake if he clicks it. I think here with a bigger navy on the field right now, he could just click up. But we'll see. The fight comes in. MarineLorD pushing in. The demos on the north.
Beasty doesn't have demos. He only has one demo in queue, 2 more out there. Demos from MarineLorD do get sniped out over here. Beasty now jumping his opponent with a demo made freshly from the dock. 2 more moving in. Nice snipes by MarineLorD. 1 demo does connect, however. And MarineLorD does get repelled. He's going to be on the way to Castle Age, cancels it, replaces the Hydrate House. Beasty now up in Song Dynasty. When he sees that Castle Age, he's just going to go.
We'll see. He hasn't been producing ships for a moment here, maybe sensing that MarineLorD is going to be backing off for the timing. No, he's training 2 more Hulks, so there's no way Beasty is going to be able to follow this Castle Age up. Instead, he has to find a way to take a fight here, but look at that. 10 demos from MarineLorD. 10!
That is insane, and Beasty only has 2 archer ships. If he loses those archer ships to the to the Hawks of MarineLorD, Beasty's fleet is going to be annihilated by 10 demos.
Yeah, if he comes forward, he's dead. He has to stay back. That's a huge fleet for MarineLorD. MarineLorD knows it. He's just going to wait for upgrades, and Beasty might get baited by the age up and just send it. Yeah, he's going to be going, so this is going to be risky. I don't think he realizes how behind he is on the Navy right now. The techs are coming in. Oh my gosh.
This is a natural reaction. This is what you have to do. You have to fight before your opponent gets the upgrades. But indeed, Beasty's fleet is actually vastly inferior here. And MarineLorD knows. MarineLorD is just waiting back at home. He already has Armored Horse finishing. He is going to have attack advantage and the numbers advantage. Beasty only has a single demo to work with. 6 more in queue, but they are going to come in too late here. He's looking to dive. Demos are still being held back by MarineLorD. MarineLorD looking to snipe out those galleys here before committing the demos, but finally demos are being pushed up here. Beasty, he's playing with fire over here, literally and figuratively. Demo now moves in here from Beasty to a beautiful connection. Here comes MarineLorD from 2 sides, and that is half of Beasty's fleet gone. MarineLorD still holding his ground over here. Junks going down from Beasty. Demos going down on both sides here. New demos on the way from MarineLorD. Beasty looking to trade them off with his own. Beasty and MarineLorD neck and neck in the fleet counts. Another demo here from MarineLorD, and this one does connect. And there goes Beasty's fleet.
Well, misclick or something. Beasty walked forward and didn't account for that demo, and suddenly loses everything. And with MarineLorD up an age, adding knights, MarineLorD's macro behind this is impeccable. Everything is working to his intention here. He's got the better fleet. He's going to soon start harassing on the land. The Barbican is kind of forward, kind of defending some stuff, but this sea is soon going to get wiped. Beasty better not be reinvesting in anything naval. He just has to get what fish he can and try and age up behind this.
Yeah, something was very weird about the fleet counts. The power bars at the very top, it looked even just like 15 or 20 seconds ago. But now Beasty has lost water. He is stuck in feudal age as well. And MarineLorD is up to Castle Age. He's sending out knights and relics, or knights and warrior monks for relics. Beasty's looking to sneak around, just wipe out the fishing eagle, but he does get sniffed out by MarineLorD.
But it's so tough against Bruce because if they win the sea, they're just going to convert to trade ships or to fishing boats, right? It's such a potent part of the Rus naval experience. A couple fishing boats could go down, but I don't think MarineLorD's going to care. He's got knights on the field, warrior monks grabbing relics, the raids are coming in on the barracks, the hunt for Beasty going to be under pressure on the land.
Yeah, this is just superficial damage, really. A couple of fishing boats go down, but remember, MarineLorD can convert his ships into other types of ships, so this damage is going to be essentially nullified in just a blink of an eye. But Beasty, he's a survivor. He's not going to tap out of this one easily. He wants to get up to Castle Age as well, heading into a castle with the astronomical clock tower, looking to get some palace guards out there, but the reaction is already there from MarineLorD. He's building up potentially spearmen to preemptively counter lancers, men-at-arms potentially, and of course, most importantly, crossbows, something that would deal with everything that Beasty has in castle.
Yeah, MarineLorD's about to transition into a massive land army. We'll see how this transition works for him. His economy setup needs to get going, but I highly expect he'll be able to do this pretty comfortably. At this stage, his lead is really extreme, and we'll see if Beasty's able to pull together a miracle here.
Yeah, he needs a miracle. He's down 20 eco. He's getting the veterancy on the spears, getting some palace guards out there. But MarineLorD already has 2 relics. He should have no problem picking up 2 more, and of course the one on the neutral island. MarineLorD is just all over the map. 131 population against 70. This is looking so grim for Beasty.
Yeah, we'll see some good trades early with the Spearman. Nest of Bees going to be the hope here for Beasty. This is a situation where you can't really count China out until the bees are dead. If there's like 3 bees on the field, a lot can happen still. We still have another chance for fireworks. If you thought it was just fireworks only on the sea from the demos, China has fireworks throughout their entire kit. And we'll see as the Nest of Bees start to make their way. But the old man gets taken down. The taxman, no! Down he
No
goes.
one likes taxes. This knight definitely doesn't.
Yeah, no, he had that was personal. That was a personal vendetta there from that guy.
Yeah, Beasty, he's hoping that Nest of Bees and Palace Guards will save him. And truth be told, he does have the Song Dynasty, so his villager production is a little quicker. Problem is that the immediate resource income should be a lot better for MarineLorD because of all the fishing eco.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough here. The Man-at-Arms and Crossbows starting to make their way around. That is exactly where the Nest of Bees should be waiting. We'll see though. 2 more bees in queue, so we're gonna get to that critical mass pretty soon. And there's no Springolds on the field for MarineLorD.
MarineLorD does have 5 relics though, and he could have the 6th on that neutral island. His resource income is just going to be up in the skies.
Yeah, we could start to see trade coming in, which I think we are seeing on the water. Yeah, this is... Yeah, we start to see some trade ships. Getting decent returns as well. So this is going to be tricky for Beasty. He's up against the wall. The water eco is there for MarineLorD. The land eco, honestly, is also an advantage for MarineLorD. But, bees on the field. That's the hope, right? That's the win condition, is some juicy shots that lead to a snowball, maybe pushing MarineLorD off of land gold.
Yeah. Beasty's doing the right thing here. He's trying to reboom by adding a second down center. He's been on stone. He's been trying to get that out there. And truth be told, he's a really good defender. He does have crossbows, palace guards, and most importantly, Nest of Bees. MarineLorD is just now adding his own Springald, so this buys a little time for Beasty over here to potentially reboom. Eco deficit is still so massive, though.
Yeah, we'll see. And MarineLorD already queuing up some Springolds, right? And that's, we talked about that earlier, like that's going to be he's going to need to have those and have more Springolds than Beasty. Otherwise, the Nest of Bees will always be a big threat. We're even seeing a transport ship added. I guess going to that central island, feeling very comfortable.
Yeah.
Is
He wants
MarineLorD.
the Sacred Site. Think about it this way. He has the Sacred Site in the middle of the map already. He picks up the relic, he captures the Sacred Site. It's a lot of passive gold income. But remember, the previous game, Beasty was the one forcing his opponent out of his base with the Sacred Site countdown. Now the roles will be reversed.
Yeah, that's certainly spicy, right? We'll see how this goes. The backup is there. The Springolds could start poking away at the sea a bit, but Roostfish don't need to drop off. So you don't really deny that with anything on this map. Trebuchet's on the field for MarineLorD. He's going to start looking to poke down that Barbican.
Yeah, he's also getting close to pop cap, so he's going to start thinking about Imperial once he has no population space to use up with units.
Yeah. That's a big army. Man, MarineLorD is just playing so perfectly, right? Like, look at this macro even. Going to be angling for that Imperial Age as well. Interesting, just got to be building the monastery here. Doesn't care about actually transporting a warrior monk. He'll just build one here and then start mining the gold.
Ooh, this is smart from Beasty. I love this move, trying to snipe out enemy ships with Springald, something that you definitely can do. Springolds do have bonus damage against ships, and the Nest of Bees doing some work over here from the backline. Springald's creeping up for Beasty. As crazy as it sounds, Beasty is still holding this, although his front line is so tiny. There's nothing that stands in between those Men-at-Arms and the Nest of Bees. Men-at-Arms
Yeah,
not
we're going to
diving
come
in
down to the
here.
villager repair. They're going to have to sack themselves for this hold. The Nest of Bees, they're shooting, but is it enough damage? It doesn't quite look like it. High Armory coming up. Imperial Age, the follow-up for MarineLorD. Full control, full army, full domination, and MarineLorD says, no, you don't get to win this one.
Not under my watch, says MarineLorD. Indeed, Beasty's trying to hold out, but even if he survives this is just the first wave. MarineLorD's got a second one already cooked up, and MarineLorD is going to be in Imperial Age in just a matter of seconds. Beasty cleans this up, but he's still down by 100 population here.
We'll see how this goes. I think maybe with the Imperial Age, Beasty might tap out here, but we'll see. He was able to hold those. The Nest Bees lived under the repairs. A couple vills went down there, quite a few, in fact. So now,
once MarineLorD is an imp, there is no shot for Beasty.
They're trading against each other, but the Man-at-Arms forcing their way back. An emergency keep up on the farming eco for Beasty. This is the last ditch, another last stand. We said last stand was the last stand, but this stand's actually the last stand. Imperial Age about to come in.
From Beasty. Imperial Age in for MarineLorD. Beasty is looking to finish the keep over here, but he's got 3 army on the field. MarineLorD, 200 population. Very, very close to securing this 3rd game here. Beasty still not giving up, but his position is just nothing short of precarious.
Yeah, Beasty opting to hold, thinking about what to do next game, right? Maybe thinking about, okay, how do I avoid this? Do I need to ban Roos, right? Do I need to ban Biz? 2 options that he had on the table but chose not to. And these 2 civs seem dominant in MarineLorD's hands.
Yeah. He probably knows how big of an eco lead MarineLorD has over here. It's really difficult on this map to overcome losing the water. He knows fully well that MarineLorD has a juggernaut eco. I think Imperial Age is a representation of that. I don't blame Beasty. This is a grand final. He's trying to just maybe hope that MarineLorD slips up, looking to cook something up. There is no harm trying, but MarineLorD is going to dive his base very soon. And once Shadow Triggers come in for MarineLorD, he's going to just take out Beasty's sole 1 Springbolt he has, and you already have a bunch of bombards. And MarineLorD hasn't even started the Sacred Side countdown, by the way. He could have done that like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, Beasty has 6 crossbows in the dream. We'll see how this goes.
Soon to be 9 crossbows in a dream, just before they get decimated.
Nope,
to
they
0.
didn't even get trained. Still 6.
Yeah, this is done and dusted. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. MarineLorD so close to securing game number 4 here, putting him up to a 3-1 lead. There we go. MarineLorD, strong water micro, and he just leverages the Roos here to secure Holy Island. He is the one to secure game number 4, and now he's up 3-1.
Yeah, honestly, incredible stuff from MarineLorD here this game. Very impressive. You see, like, we kind of talked about this a few times throughout the tournament, that Roos hadn't really seemed as dominant as they had before, but you put them on a map where they've been historically great, and guess what? They looked historically great, right? Writing history is MarineLorD. Oof, got a big lead in the series.
Ooh, and that's scary thinking when we go into a redraft what that could actually paint a picture into. Fantastic casting so far, boys, and a fantastic set. And, you know, I think we're going to have to dissect this a little bit because something important was happening in the second half of this part of the draft, right? Like we talked game 1, game 2, there was, even when there was an aggressive pick, there was a defensive reset that put him behind. What I think we're seeing here, Lidical, in the second half of the draft, despite that loss as well, is Beasty, when he gives him these civs, when he gets his hands on these civs that have the ability to hunker down after aggression, like we saw in that English game, he looks like the Beasty that we know that can win grand finals.
Yeah, I think the problem is that MarineLorD is reading Beasty very, very well, and MarineLorD is, he doesn't have issues hunkering down himself, and some of the civilizations that he ends up using, they are on a par with Beasty's hunker down civ, if not better. This is kind of what we've seen on this map. Beasty didn't play very aggressive on the water. It was kind of a stalemate for some time. And then big naval engagements begin. MarineLorD wasn't really rushing this all-out aggression. He was fine playing a slower-paced game. And I think that's the issue that Beasty is having troubles with right now. He is happy playing a long game. He's happy playing a more defensive game. But the moment he does that, MarineLorD is just going to jump on the map control he's given, secure the relics, and he's also going to boom up just as quickly as Beasty does.
All right, Winston, quickly punt a civ out there that you think will be Beasty's savior, because I know you guys need to stretch your legs quickly.
Banning Roos.
Banning Roos is the savior. Okay.
Which is done. That's my
which is done.
for Beasty.
All right. quickly go refresh yourselves because I got to talk to everyone. That's a good sign, though, what Winston just told us. It suggests that Beasty has some potential and the Malian King is appearing. So let's hop onto the solo cam because I need to get a little bit intimate. I need to talk to you. That right there, you think I'm just going to talk about it? I'm offering you up something here. Something delectable, something delightful. Because, you know, I've got a feeling this series is going to go deeper. Beasty seems to maybe be going a little bit deep in these games than some people would. Maybe he's of the opinion that he can tire MarineLorD out, but as we know, MLord loves those DGen hours. He just gets stronger and stronger as the midnight clock ticks. But what I want to do is look forward not just a day, not just in a few hours. I want to look forward a few months. Does anyone want Age of Mythology here? Anyone looking forward to some Age of Mythology? Can I see it in the chat? Can I hype it up? I know you guys want it. I know you got a taste of it. You saw the trailer. Absolutely hype. Well, how about this? Courtesy of Surfshark, we have got an Age of Mythology giveaway. That's right. 3 copies of Age of Myth are up for grabs here. And all users have to do is prove that they have actually grabbed themselves Surfshark during the Decisive event. So what we'll do, we're going to set up a channel. We're going to allow you to DM across to us proof that you've purchased either in this event or the previous one. And doing so will get you entered into a giveaway for a chance to win one of 3 copies of Age of Mythology. And we will be giving you advanced access to Age of Mythology. So before August the 28th, as has been already kind of established if you pre-order. So guys, to be in with this, you need to do something. 2 things, actually. Obviously, first of all, you need to buy some Surfshark. Why haven't you tried it? Like, at least get yourself a month. It's easy peasy now. On top of that, you need to join our Discord. Link should be down below. I believe !Discord will also work in the chat. That is absolutely free. That element, half of it, you don't even have to pay anything for. We're going to have a channel in there where you can actually just type in that you have actually entered, and then you can reach out, we'll reach out to you, and we'll ask for proof of purchase. Once you've done that, entered in the giveaway, and we will announce the winners on the Discord. It is urgent you do this, by the way, because we're aiming to lock entries to the giveaway in the next 24 hours, and we will be drawing the victors, the 3 people who are lucky enough to receive the blessings of the gods next weekend. So take advantage of that right now. Look at this. Look at this production. Don't need my face anymore. The tie is important. Right there. There are all the details you need, courtesy of Beasty, so you know I'm not just pulling your leg. Take advantage of this, guys. This is great. We already mentioned all the amazing reasons why Surfshark's available and valuable to get your hands on for €2 a month. Now we're giving you a rebate. We're giving you 4 months, but apparently 4 months wasn't good enough. We also decided to throw in a copy of a game that you all need. If there is someone out there who's like, Age of Mythology, I don't care. I'm all about Age of Empires 4. Okay, we love AOE IV, but let's be totally real. Outside of Sultan's Ascent, campaign's a little bit. How about Age of Mythology, a game which has a long-established competitive scene, but on the single-player side has one of the greatest RTS campaigns ever concocted, and we're going to give it away to you. So take advantage of that. I definitely encourage it. Keep the subs coming as well. So you guys have been absolutely amazing for that. But what a crazy day this is proven to be. There's the big question mark now. Can the game style change? Did Beasty learn something in game 3 or 4 that can take him ever so much deeper into this series to maybe stand a chance of ruining MarineLorD's clean run of grand finals? Because at this pace, MarineLorD is going to be present in every single S-tier grand final of this year, and has a high probability of that, of winning them all. Beasty's the one who's got to stop him, and I think we're ready to get into the redraft and see how it's coming along. Boys, welcome back. Hopefully you're feeling refreshed. Winston, he needs more energy drink. There we go. Water, hydration. Water's very important in this particular map pool, Winston, because we still haven't done Archipelago yet.
Hydro, homies. Gotta drink up. You can't forget your hydration, especially when you're talking, all day.
Well,
right.
We've got plenty to talk about. The draft is complete,
Yeah.
and we've got to dissect some of this, right? Because you mentioned Roos, can't allow that through, tick that box. But is there an element of you at the other end that sees Beasty highlighting French and kind of makes you want to cry? Winston, this is your moment.
I was drinking water. Sorry, my brain turned off. Could you please repeat
this
the question?
happens like
for
3
chat.
times
Chat
a broadcast.
Chat didn't hear you. Chat didn't hear you. It wasn't me.
No,
I heard
no,
everything.
Roos.
Well, you got to repeat it for the chat.
No, Roos. Big bueno, you're happy, but Beasty did pick the French. How are we feeling?
I doubt we're gonna see French here.
I'd hope.
Well,
maybe. Wait. This is where you go on a rant about how good Chamber of Commerce is.
I was gonna say maybe there's a map or matchup here where it could look good. Don't really see it.
Do you think it's maybe just there to throw MarineLorD off a little bit, Lidicor? And he's muted.
Muted.
You, no talkie.
Still
Do you not
muted.
hear?
It's fine, okay? I was just, checking if you're paying attention. Anyway, what was I gonna say? So, French, it's always a looming danger as a semi-counter pick to something like HRE on a map like Archipelago. So I feel like, if nothing else, it introduces some level of uncertainty to your civilization picks. It could be an interesting option for a map like Moving Out, even. Beasty does have his OOTD, and that's kind of his go-to civilization on a map like Archipelago. But one of the things I'm seeing over here, folks, is that he opted for a very unorthodox civilization pick going into Four Lakes, so maybe he's got something very cheesy cooked up for some of these remaining maps.
We've already got something peculiar here to talk about, Winston, because, Delhi got drafted, and I do not remember the last time I saw it get picked on Four Lakes.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting pick. I think part of the idea here is just go, right? You hit the go button at some point with Delhi, and you just hope it works, right? I think they kind of have some advantages to hybrid that people forget. The fishing boats, you don't need to build a galley to defend against a vill, right? Just building a sneak dock. If you spread out your fishing against the 3 fish on the shore, you can very easily see the vill come, and then you don't need to train a ship to kill the vill. You just have the fishing boat kill the vill, which I think is a great advantage for Delhi on these maps defensively. And the idea is you play for 1 pond, maybe 2, and I guess you could try to go aggressive on a pond, but I think the bigger idea is you just build a huge ball of units and you just go forward on the land.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the other element of water potentially, if you want to sneak under their ponds, is manuscript trades. Is kind of an underrated tech, can be quite potent in the right situation. I know a few players were even theory crafting that on floodplains. But on the other side of it, something a bit more of a form picture here. One that actually I'd say Lidicor on a standard water map, you give maybe an edge across the Abbasids, because I think even when you're on land, this has been one of the civs that can force Delhi off the clean, clear build order they've been following now for 2 years.
Yeah, it's one of those weird matchups that you very commonly see on certain maps. When you go back a year or two, this matchup was the go-to matchup on a map like Lipany. It's just not something that you commonly see on Four Lakes. So both of these players have some interesting strategies cooked up for the remaining maps. Side note here is that Abbasids were MarineLorD's final civilization pick. So it remains to be seen if this is kind of a throwaway-ish civilization here, especially given that he has a lead of 3-1. Or if this was the original plan over here. He does have Mongols, he does have Ottomans. Neither of these civilizations are frequently picked on a map like Four Lakes. Does have Byzantines, which is a civilization he likes a lot. And English could be interesting as well alongside HRE. But you get the feeling that he has none of these very classic Four Lakes civilizations besides Abbasids. So maybe to a certain extent he prioritized getting a strong lineup for the remaining maps and just said, listen, Four Lakes is one where my opponent could have Japanese. My opponent has potentially Iobids as well. Maybe I'm just going to take a step back and take one of my weaker civilizations for this map.
For a while, I'd say HRE was seen as like a good answer to the Delhi, right, Winston? But in more recent times, I think ever since the Ghazi got introduced, that matchup tended to skew back towards the Delhi. So maybe Lidicor's right. Like, this was a case of MarineLorD didn't want to compromise his best picks when he knew that something like the Delhi or the Japanese should be coming out on Four Lakes.
Yeah, and that's interesting. I wonder, did they know the map before they did this draft, or do they redraft and then pick the map?
That's a good question. I double check
because that could really affect how this draft looked, right? But yeah, no, definitely a good point. I think Delhi is just super strong right now, and I feel like Delhi could be played on 2, maybe 3. You could maybe add this on Kawasan, but that feels a bit far-fetched. Yeah, but Coastal Cliffs, right? That's where Delhi could also get played and be really effective. But maybe MarineLorD was saying English for Coastal, Abbasid for Four Lakes, HRE for Archie, and then Kawasan is maybe Mongols, and then moving out. I don't know.
He has a lot of variants, actually. I mean, I don't think... Have we seen anyone trying to play English or moving out yet, Lidicor? I don't think we have, right?
I don't think so either, and it would be a really fun civilization to look at, I feel. So
toxic is the word you're looking for, not fun.
Well, I mean, the category is chaos. What else do you expect? It's one of my favorite maps. It's just complete madness in like 9 out of 10 games. It's just complete chaos. But before we head into this game here on Four Lakes, I gotta bring up one of the fancy stats once
Oh, here we
again.
go.
Oh yeah.
I think it's more known that out of the 3 games that MarineLorD dropped in this entire tournament, including the grand finals, one of those were on Four Lakes. So he actually has played
True.
this map just once in the entire tournament, lost it against Vortex. At the same time, Beasty is undefeated. He has only played this map once, though. Now, you could say, hey, sample size is small. We don't really draw conclusions from that. But wait a minute. Every single series that Beasty has been involved in, this was the hybrid map pick. So, as much as Beasty only played this once, every single set he was involved in, this map could have been played if the series was long enough. So, I'm actually wondering whether this is Beasty's safe place over here. We haven't seen him play this a lot in this tournament so far, but it seems to be one of the more beloved maps that he has in the map pool.
Well, let's hype it up a step further. You mentioned Four Lakes is the one where MarineLorD could be slayed. Archipelago is still in there, so Beasty believers, have faith. There's still a way to turn it around. There's still a story to be weaved here, but now it's time to hop into a few ponds. We're heading to Four Lakes.
Whoa.
A classic AOE tournament map, not just in AOE 4, but AOE 2 as well. Four Lakes used to be known as Cross back in the days, and it's one of the most micro and macro intensive maps of the entire map pool, Winston. So many things could be happening between the land, multiple ponds. This is just going to be so difficult to keep track of.
Yeah, the biggest thing in these early game situations is just these sneak docks, and you see it from the Spanish bros all the time. They are so willing to just like 17 minutes into the game, just be like, now let's see if you're looking over here, and they'll just place a docks at a random ville on a long journey, and oftentimes it just works. It's really hard to pay attention to every little detail on these maps. There's just too many things calling your attention, between exposed resources, making sure you don't lose control of the middle of the map where a lot of the resources are, making sure you don't lose control of any of the ponds, making sure you keep up with the water micro, which, as we've seen both today and throughout this whole tournament, water micro is very difficult and requires excellent attention. And so just all of these things combined just kind of add up to being, all right, you gotta focus here. You gotta be paying attention, you know? It's hard.
And we have an unconventional civilization matchup here. We have Abbasids for MarineLorD in the color pink. And on the other side, a civilization that I honestly don't recall ever seeing on this map. Beasty's in command of the Delhi.
Yeah, Delhi with BC especially, it's really scary. Delhi's just one of those civs where every time you play against it, you have to be on your toes. You have to be ready, because it just feels like a civ that can so quickly, just like you miss one little detail and then the game just slips away entirely. They are so volatile with how they can attack late feudal age, even early feudal age, honestly. And it's just, we'll see how BC is able to handle it. And interesting choices from MarineLorD so far on his side.
Yeah,
What
of
age up
course,
do you think we'll get? Mill?
I think one of the key things to look out here for MarineLorD is that he does have that discount on the docks. So he can easily sneak a dock on a Beastie spawn, but at the same time, Beastie does have fishing boats that do shoot arrows. So it's going to be interesting to see whether MarineLorD actually commits to dock on the opposing player spawn here.
Yeah, it always feels a bit risky to send it against Delhi, but you know, the arrows can miss, things can go wrong. Like, you could just not notice anyways, right? So that's kind of the benefit of the galley, is it's, if you patrol it correctly, it's just going to catch it, right? Whereas, you know, the arrow ship, the fishing boat, you have to micro, you have to be paying attention. But we expect our players at this level to be just super excellent and able to handle that, so not too worried. Interesting. Did BC just cancel manuscript trade? I think he did. Realizing it wasn't going to help here, maybe. Do you feel like we get Millwing here, Liticor? I think, to me, that just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah, so Millwing is the choice. Probably right. I could see a play for culture, so you get an FC timing, maybe, if that's like the game plan, but that feels risky. I feel like Millwing just is so secure. You know, you're not going to get caught off guard by anything crazy early on. You can contest Delhi early game, you can fend off some Ghazi raids. It just feels like the smart choice.
Yeah, second dock coming up here from MarineLorD, and indeed, I don't see a sneaky villager coming through. This is definitely an interesting opening. I think 9 out of 10 games that you see on this map, one of the players will try to sneak a dock on the opponent's pond. That's not the case right now.
Yeah, no sneaks just yet. Looks like, I think MarineLorD built another dock on his first pond, so just really trying to go for a solid hold here and not drop anything.
Yeah, it's definitely an awkward start here. I'm a little puzzled about this. It could work out very, very well. It's more about the fact that this is just not something that you commonly see. And indeed, second dock from MarineLorD is going to come up on this neutral pond. So it's a very, very patient and slow opening from both of these players here. And it kind of synergizes with what we've talked about between the games. Beasty might want to play a little bit more defensive, but MarineLorD is okay with that. He's taking most of the map control for himself, but he's also focusing very heavily on booming. And so far, that worked very well for him in the previous games. Did we lose Winston?
Sorry, my mic somehow got muted. You know, Beasty, he's might gonna fall a little behind in the food eco, right? Because he's only adding a second dock now. MarineLorD added a second dock on his first pond a while ago, so already accruing a slight advantage. And we do see that Vil going for the dock, but we saw MarineLorD already kind of pre-place a really good dock, so I don't think this is going to be a surprise, unless maybe this is some Vil play for like an outpost on the sacred site, maybe, but very, almost definitely going for a dock, right? That's usually what people do here.
It's a pretty light dock for today's standards, I would say. Nowadays, you see players sneaking a villager in Dark Age because the opponents are just so prepared for it. And, well, MarineLorD is well prepared for this. He already built that discounted dock he has with the Abyssids into that corner. So when Beasty shows up, he's going to be like, wait a minute, this spot for dock is already taken.
Yeah, so
one thing is sure, this is not going to be sneaky.
Yeah, this is definitely not sneaky, and there's a Vil here even. We'll see if BC just tries to go unnoticed here. That might be the plan.
No, he's going to have to run.
No way, right?
It's not just the fact that MarineLorD is up to feudal age already. It's the fact that he's got the spearmen archers out. So at this point for Beasty, it's a run for his life. Aggro's 2 wolves, but he's just running all the way back home.
Wow, 3 wolves on the hunt here. The Vil just went on a bit of a trip. She's like, I want some fish in my diet, and off she went. Wow, and seeing that failed dock attempt, MarineLorD just checked his other pond. He's like, hey, are you here? And
yeah,
we do see the Millwing.
Archers and spearmen coming in here. Beasty barely gets out alive with his scout. Beasty does have quite a lot of scholars, by the way. I think that's something that we kind of skipped past here. He already has 3 scholars out there. Jumping in and out, he's trying to jump into the range, I should say, to get that efficient production out. He starts popping out those archers just in time to repel this.
Yeah, that was funny because you'd think that the Millwing would be really effective here, but against Delhi, it's really hard for just 1 or 2 units to deal meaningful damage, especially if your Scholar micro is good, and we saw Beasty there. He popped out his Scholars and just did some healing on the Vils, and it's like nothing happened, right? A bit of idle time because he had to migrate to the southern woodline because he just didn't want to deal with it. But now, the Horsemen are MarineLorD, and a Ram also being built, so MarineLorD looking to turn up the heat here, and Beasty's army just a bit small. The heals, will they come in? No, just not quite.
And this is dicey for Beasty because MarineLorD is leveraging all that food income from the fishing to just start spamming out horsemen. He's up to 4 horsemen already. Beasty wants to fast castle this. That was the plan all along. No naval aggression, at least after that failed dock he tried going for. And he wants to get up the castle late, but this is so dangerous because MarineLorD is playing very aggro here. He's got horsemen out, he's got a battering ram as well to take out the docks with. And it looks like Beasty wants to play men-at-arms, but he's still short on gold, and this could be the prime timing here for MarineLorD.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw double stable from a Basset in Feudal Age. I feel like it's been a long time. since that's been like more common. Unless I've just been missing it, you know. It's just that's
usually
crazy.
you don't
This
have
is a
the food
huge
income.
investment.
Right? Usually you don't have the food income on a map like Dry Arabia, so you either have the Abbasid player playing 2 TCs, or they just play like low military. But here you have such a huge amount of food income that you can actually afford this. Now, one thing that MarineLorD doesn't see is the age up coming in here from Beasty compound of the defender on the way, but he definitely needs that compound to defend his base, because boy oh boy is he under so much pressure. Only 3 archers and 2 spearmen to work with.
Yeah, Sanctity didn't even finish. Like,
That's
only 3
ugly.
scholars, so Sacred Sites aren't even an option. I mean, it does pause for Delhi. You don't have to restart the tech, but it does feel kind of wild. Like, it's not like BC's going to get map control anytime soon.
Yeah, it's concerning. It starts to remind me of game number 1, where Beasty was able to beat his opponent to Castle Age, but the condition that his eco was in upon hitting Castle Age was just miserable. He's facing 12 horsemen. He's got barely any counters to it. MarineLorD is now adding camel archers. He's got some archers as well, so the spearman Beasty has could fall very quickly. Beasty has no blacksmith upgrades. Bootcamp is now on the way for MarineLorD, and his gold mine, or Beasty's gold mine, I should say, is getting pushed. Beasty does have a lot of gold in the bank, so he does have a little buffer, but his position looks so grim, I feel.
Yeah, just this all-out aggression from MarineLorD. He's coming in, adding a second ram right in the face of Beasty, and these upgrades are just going to keep getting denied. These units, these aren't going to come out in time, and Beasty adding crossbows, but what do those do here? Like, I'm not even sure what the plan is for Beasty at this point, other than making man-at-arms and some spears, maybe, to try and fight off this army. The horsemen, though, looping around, looking for some damage. They might find it on the wood line. My.
Beasty's still trying to hold on to this. It's not even double the army count right now for MarineLorD, because for Beasty, the fishing boats count towards such. It's really just 7 men-at-arms and a couple of light units here, spears and archers. Only the men-at-arms are Castle Age, and MarineLorD is going to dive this. He is going to fight this off, and he does have a beautiful surround. This is just looking so sad for Beasty. Villagers are being pulled here. Men-at-arms are very tanky, though, so they do take out a lot of time to kill. And Beasty's holding. He's got efficient production. He's got very tanky men-at-arms. And one thing that MarineLorD doesn't really have in Feudal Age is armor-piercing power. He just doesn't have good units that destroy the men-at-arms.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice there from MarineLorD. He's building up the camel archers, which are going to be good long-term, but it takes some time for them to both ramp up in numbers and to deal their damage against Castle Age men-at-arms, right? Against feudal men-at-arms, it's a common technique for Abbasid, but yeah, here it's going to be a bit harder. Meanwhile, though, that fight went a lot better for Beasty than I thought it might. The surround from the horsemen looked very scary. Looks like just enough there for Beasty. And now we have the flood coming out. Just tons of man-at-arms in queue. He's just going to attempt to flood the map, and MarineLorD, he's going to have to turn this around somehow. The army is big and scary from Beasty and effectively unkillable unless you have god-tier micro with these camel archers.
Camel archers do have decent base attack, so you do fairly well against the men-at-arms, but camel archers take a long time to build. And remember, this is just part of the equation over here. MarineLorD takes a long time to get up to Castle Age. Beasty is already getting compound of defender bonuses. He's going to start soon spamming castles. He's going to start getting those villagers out as a consequence. He's moving out with the relics, or for the relics as well. Does take out some of these frontline units, the horsemen with the men-at-arms, but MarineLorD is just building up those camel archer numbers, and this is no longer a position that Beasty is happy with.
Yeah, gonna have to take this losing fight here because there's no retreat. But we do have the Remax behind this, so Beasty going to be aiming to build up again his forces, this time switching into Ghazi to run down the camel archers and kind of create a screen for these man-at-arms. The scholars on the back end have picked up one relic.
I don't think Beasty's going to get a lot more because he's confined into his base right now. MarineLorD looking to get up to Castle Age, and with 13 camel archers, he can take out these men-at-arms as well. Beasty forced back into his DC here. He's loading a lot of resources now, trying to go for crossbows. Okay, is that a misclick, Winston?
No, I think the crossbows are a smart play. You have to predict that eventually MarineLorD will go up to castle. And it is on the way.
I feel like he's desperate for units right now, and crossbows are probably not the most valuable units right now for him.
Yeah, but there's something you can afford, and honestly, they don't trade terribly against the camel archers, at least feudal age ones, right? Like, they will, if you have like 7 or 8 of them, you start to one-shot the camel archers, and they do have more range than the archers. So in terms of defending
Fair
against
point.
the raids, it's not awful, but it is weird, right? We'll see though, because MarineLorD will also be Castle Age, at which point Lancers would be available, Man-at-Arms of his own, Gulams of his own would be available, and you have to start thinking about what your options are, and this big gap in the wall is going to be a huge issue.
I don't think Beasty scouted that. I think he thought the south was walled. That little gap, and MarineLorD just squeezes his troops through that. Oh, that's such a painful, painful push from Beasty's side. He has to idle all his
He's walled in
villagers,
though.
and now
He's walled in
trapping
though.
them. He's trapping him.
Yeah, killing this camel archer mash could be huge for Beasty. You could start to see the crossbows. It's not bonus damage, but they're
Another
slowly
trap.
dealing their damage. Another little quick wall here. MarineLorD needs to pay attention and get out, and he will do so, but not without losing some more units on the back foot of this.
Now, what are the odds of MarineLorD going into Imperial here, Winston? He's got the resources for Imperial.
I think you would need to get upgrades. I think Imp would be a bit bold, because you Imp into what, right? Like, he has Culture Wing, so you want to make use of that
I
landmark
don't
by
know.
getting the...
He just piled up so much resources. He is up by about 7-ish eco. Man-at-Arms pushing him away.
Yeah, you can start to see these scholars getting focused down. MarineLorD doing a really good job denying these relics.
And MarineLorD queued up 8 Lancers. Now, those Lancers will get decimated by all these crossbowmen, so it's a curious choice. Beasty slowly breaking out of his base here. We gotta say, Beasty stabilized quite well here.
Yeah, 10 deficit isn't ideal for him. He has some raids going for himself as well. Kind of this 2-pawn to 1-pawn situation has been a lot of why MarineLorD's feels so much more potent, but Beasty finally getting onto the second pawn. MarineLorD not doing anything against that, and now walling with these man-at-arms just to kind of hold off against these raids so he can kind of shore up his base, as he knows what's coming his way is a big, massive units.
This is where we're getting into Beasty territory. When the map gets sectioned off and we're getting to this slower pace portion of the game, that's where he really thrives. Let's cancel the gate here last second to keep those walls intact. Crossbow is looking to snipe out the knight. Now MarineLorD is willing to commit his camel archers to just snipe out the crossbows, but for now Beasty does hold, and remember, he does have village fortresses, so he could start building up that eco very rapidly.
Yeah, but he has to get onto stone, which is something he just can't afford at this stage, and once again the camels come face to face with the wall. The crossbows could deal good damage here from behind, but instead Beasty just gonna retreat and take a better fight somewhere else.
He's
And
still
we have
waiting
this
for
dock
upgrades,
attempt.
and oh, sneaky dock
MarineLorD
attempt here.
instantly notice. He did. Or did oh no, he killed the fish, so the Vil went idle. So MarineLorD hasn't looked here. This Vil's just idle. Now MarineLorD looks. Now he sees it. Oh boy. The push is coming in as well.
Breakthrough. Oh, Beasty's not gonna finish that dock out there. Lancers on the front, camel archers on the back line here. This is a tough position to maneuver with your cavalry. A lot of like tight and narrow spots here. Beasty looking to stand and fight. He's got a lot of men-at-arms, something that MarineLorD doesn't have a really good answer to, and this is going to be a perfect frontline unit here for Beasty. He's pushing away Lancers with the crossbows, and Beasty is once again holding.
Well, we'll see. The micro is here for MarineLorD, but the crossbows on the back getting taken down. I mean, he's just going to have to retreat. And a Mangonel now for Beasty even. As we've got 4 relics for Beasty, by the way. So, no Sanctity for Sacred Site snatching, but he did grab 4 relics, which is a huge boost to his economy. And now you can see that floating. 1,400 gold is Beasty.
Still no aggression from MarineLorD on either of these spawns. He just wants to fight full land. He's making a hard pivot into Horsemen, and let's not forget, he's got a very robust food eco, so he can make these transitions very, very quickly. He's up to 20 Horsemen, and Beasty doesn't have a lot of things that deal with Horsemen well. He's got only a handful of man-at-arms on the front line, does have the Mangonel on the back line as well, though. Narrow choke points, plus the Monk's healing helps as well, but he just doesn't seem to have that counter unit he needs against these Horsemen. And now the Mangonel gets taken out, so is Beasty.
Yeah, that just turned so quick on him, right? Like, it looked like he was in a good position, but then all of a sudden he just wasn't. Like, oh my gosh, the Army Remax from MarineLorD, the better economy, just showing time and time again that he is here to win a tournament.
And this was one of the weird games that you see with Abbasids. You rarely see games like this because normally Abbasids need to play 2 TC to unlock this unit flood potential. But here, because MarineLorD had all that fishing eco, he was just able to very quickly transition between unit types. He went from 0 horsemen to 20 in a blink of an eye, and that tech switch was so quick that Beasty had no chance to respond.
Yeah, the double stable horseman, right? We talked about it. Like, you don't often see a player that invest that heavily into horsemen, especially with the Basset early game. This used to be a way that they played, right? Was heavy horsemen into just enough camel archers to snipe spearmen. But here, MarineLorD kind of bringing back that style here, and it did a lot of damage, like economically, right? And MarineLorD just kind of fell. Kind of just kept crawling ahead with all of its advantages. The third dock in Dark Age, for example, really paid off. He had a much bigger economy, but not much of a later age up. So definitely something to investigate there with the build orders, I think, and how MarineLorD really executed that well. That'll be certainly interesting to study later.
Well, we will be heading into Archipelago over here. I've got some fancy stats about this one, and it's going to be an HRE versus OOTD matchup, something that we've seen in the matchup of the Spanish brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at this point, Beasty is fighting for his tournament life over here. Any game could be the lost for him here in these grand finals. But I feel like this is one of the best maps for him to potentially try to mount a comeback. He's undefeated on Archipelago, and he played it in every single round in this tournament. MarineLorD, he actually played this against Vortex and lost it. So this is definitely one of the quote-unquote weaker maps for MarineLorD, if there is any map that you could call weaker for him. And it's definitely one of the powerhouse maps for Beasty. And we do have 2 very classic civilizations over here. Not a lot of uncertainty in these civ picks.
Yeah, this is certainly what they drafted for here. With Jushi and China being banned out, it just kind of naturally falls to these 2 civs to pick up the pieces here for the naval maps, and archipelago. I don't know, just messing around. We have lots of ways to pronounce it. But yeah, here, I'm not sure. I don't know if I really have a favorite between OTD or HRE here. Maybe a slight advantage to HRE just because players have the build order just down so cleanly for water. Like, we've been playing this for 3 years, right?
Yeah, it's tough, right? I mean, I'm just thinking about Beast's position right now because so far, when you look at the historical matchups between these 2 players, this matchup kind of went like all the others did. MarineLorD just seems to have Beasty's number in these matchups, but again, this is going to be the place where Beasty needs to mount a comeback. And honestly, I feel like this is probably the best map where he can launch a comeback.
Yeah, and I don't really know if his draft gets that much better looking as we go to the further games. I mean, maybe there's a question mark on moving out. What does MarineLorD pick? But we've seen Mongols played there, and I don't really see a reason why he wouldn't pick it there. And he has English for Coastal Cliffs, and I guess Ottomans here for Calasan, which, I mean, all of that feels rather natural. Beastie's civs, though, look pretty good. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tricky. Tricky to see. Oh, man.
I feel like if Beastie survives this game, the remaining civilizations are pretty good. Coastal Cliffs, that's a little dangerous for him because
Mhm.
that's a one slip up and you're done type of a map. But he does have a Japanese pick for Kawasan, which could be a juggernaut. Moving out, a bit of a question mark. But, that's a chaotic map. That could go either way. So I feel like if he survives Archipelago, he could make this a super competitive set.
Yeah, exactly. I think he could. It's just a matter of if, like, honestly, in these games we saw so far on Socotra, on Holy Island, Beastie was not winning the water micro. It was not decisive enough for me to think, oh, he's going to go win. He was losing the water. Even on Socotra, with 3 ship skirmishes, MarineLorD was doing better, right? So I think looking at Holy Island as well, as just it was really dominant for MarineLorD. He just seems locked in. His build orders crisp, his timings persistent and very like in your face. And let's see if we can get it from Beasty here, because it's gonna be here hard. It's gonna be uphill.
Beasty played this map every single round. He won every single round so far in this tournament. And now he needs to win to stay alive in this series because MarineLorD is on a match point. MarineLorD in command of the HRE with the color pink. And on the other side, we have Beasty with the Order of the Dragon in yellow. And look at this spawn over here. The two players spawning right next to each other. This time around, this neutral island isn't going to be in between the players, but rather just offset to the right.
Interestingly, I actually think MarineLorD, his map is a bit bad. It's good and bad at the same time. His Aachen Chapel can't get gold. Unless he places it in a really crazy spot. But you'd expect MarineLorD to prioritize the wood, right?
Yeah, this is not a generous map generation for either of these players, to be honest. Beasty does have both of his large gold mines close to the shore. He can only place his Aachen Chapel far away from his DC, close to this little gold mine, right?
Yeah, that's a great Aachen, right? That's fine. It's serviceable. It's not perfect.
Yeah,
but
it's
it
serviceable
works.
is probably a better way to put this.
Compared to MarineLorD, who's... I mean, does MarineLorD take a small forest there? Or does he go maybe further south? I don't know. Generally, players don't like to walk too much, but I don't mind. I'll go on a trip for a good Aachen. I will pack my bags for a good Aachen. That's me. That's just me. I guess, not everybody is willing to take a long trip to Mordor and back in order to have a good Aachen Chapel, but that's me.
Two villagers from Beasty on shore fishing duty. When we look at MarineLorD, he does have 3. And that's actually a lovely setup. Look at that. Those villagers taking the shore fish, they're actually buffed by the prelate.
Interestingly, Beasty didn't delete his scout, so that is a difference in their build orders here. Obviously, the build order is going to be a bit different with OTD vills, but the scout keep staying alive isn't something we saw in the Vortex versus Lucifron game, which was the same matchup, right? We saw both players delete the scouts there, right? So Beasty showing a bit of a different approach, prioritizing the vision. Maybe there'll be something coming from the scout later, or he's just going to sit on the edge like he's done and just wait to get that first glimpse of information. So where does MarineLorD Aachen? I feel like this is a really big question.
Yeah, it's an awkward spot. Yeah, I feel like he's... he might actually Aachen like right next to the DC, and he might be able to catch the edge of the gold mine and the edge of the wood line. That could be an option.
Oh, but that gets so ugly. Like, the wood gets chopped. You need it to kind of be flush with the wood, right?
It's gonna be ugly no matter what. It's just a matter of which
How
of
ugly?
these options is the least ugly for him.
Pick your poison, right? Can we take a look at the stealth water as well? It looks like there is none between the players, right? Which should mean slightly more aggressive. It's hard to like find these really offensive holds or these really crazy defensive holds when, you can just see everything for free. Like, not for free, but without the vision blockers of the stealth water. So that should be pretty clear. There it is. Our little reeds in the water. So he goes for the wood. Just completely ignoring gold. This probably makes the most sense given the state of things, but definitely doesn't feel good to have your gold, all of your gold on the coast. Not a single gold is on the back for MarineLorD, right? So if he ever loses water, like a comeback with siege or something isn't really going to be an option. Unless something crazy happens, which, crazy stuff can't happen, right?
One thing is sure, Beasty isn't going to tap out of this game easily. So, well, unless he gets like utterly annihilated on water and just says, okay, I'm done. But he needs to fight tooth and nail for this game. So I could see him just saying, okay, if I get pushed off the water, I'm going to try something, try to pull a Hail Mary, try to get back into this game, because if I don't, this was the last game I played in this tournament.
Yep, both players going forward with that fishing boat. So we're starting to get that information. The A-chips are coming in, so we're going to have our first warships on the field very soon. Interesting. MarineLorD decided that was enough info. He saw a couple fishing boats, I think.
Well,
I've
I
seen
mean, that's
enough.
crucial info. It is crucial info that you are not on the opposing side of the map, but rather just right next to each other.
Instant Hulk from Beasty, where it looks like maybe setting up for Galley? Is Marine? Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
So, slight difference.
Beasty is gonna play defensive over here. The meta, if you want to push the enemy fishing boats, is that you go for a galley because they just decimate fishing boats. So if you want to defend against that, you're going to go for a springald ship. So it kind of tells you that Beasty wants to play a little bit more defensive and MarineLorD wants to be the aggressor.
Yep, wood upgrade coming in for both players, as you'd expect. And yeah, honestly, MarineLorD's economy is looking really solid. Both players similar fishing counts.
Yeah,
The
that's
Hulk
kind of what you
going
expect from
forward.
this. This is an interesting opening. Beast is going aggressive with that Hulk. He probably expected MarineLorD to open with a galley. And this early, you don't have a demo. And this is just so good of a value over here for Beasty. So much idle time for MarineLorD having to flee a little. He needs to be careful not to lose this Hulk to the first incoming demo, though. Demo on the way. Beasty does have a galley, but that galley needs to be here to snap that demo with.
Yeah, it's certainly a spicy situation, right? Because you can't go too aggressive with the Hulks early game. It always feels bad, right? If you get caught by those demos, it's just wrecked. But here, Beastie just going in for a slight poke. No real meaningful damage here. Just saying hi. We do even get Wheelbarrow coming in for Order the Dragon.
Scuffle here. Beastie's is trying to aggress this fishing eco and make sure that the fight is taking place right next to MarineLorD's base. And MarineLorD so far was okay with that. Both players now up to 3 Hawks. Beastie's yet to add the demo.
Yeah, feeling content just to wait. You can wait on the demos. They train really, really quickly. So you can generally wait to dump your eco into it. The big thing is having enough ships early game. And here we have the pressure coming forward from MarineLorD. Will take some shots at the first fishing boat he sees. Beastie, though, with enough ships to defend, should be okay. MarineLorD going for the dive on the arrow ship. There are 2 demos here.
Yeah.
Beastie in trouble, needs to split the fish and the Hulks. Is it going to be enough splits?
Demo!
It
will.
will.
Does connect, but the ship stays alive. Beastie isn't pulling the
No
fishing boats
repairs.
to repair in time, though. And that is 1 Hawk gone. In exchange, there was a galley gun for MarineLorD's side, but you really have to feel that MarineLorD had the better out of that engagement.
Yeah, it was 2 demos early, which can really put you back on some upgrades like Wheelbarrow here, right? Demos are really expensive gold-wise. And you see Beastie now finishing Wheelbarrow, so that's going to give him a slight eco edge here, potentially. We'll see how that pans out as the Hulks bravely moving forward once again, fearing no demo, fearing no man. Beastie heads straight into the fleet of the enemy without a full composition to back him up, and seeing more Hulks, he now fears 1 man, which is MarineLorD, and will retreat.
He's looking to play aggressive over here. Does have 2 demos. He's been hiding them so far. They're right here. He's looking to snipe out the galleys from MarineLorD. MarineLorD does have demos himself. Beastie playing with fire over here. He's pushing up his galley to snipe out the demos from MarineLorD. Does have 2 demos, but he needs to wait until those connect. Demos coming from both sides. MarineLorD is the one sinking the ships on Beastie's side, though. A Hawk goes down alongside the demo, and once again, MarineLorD is the one who laughs at the end.
Yeah, BC just not getting the better of any of these exchanges, really. Like, most of these exchanges were quite neutral, but as soon as there's one with an advantage, it's advantage MarineLorD, right? Like, here he's trying to take the engagement. Only 1 arrow ship left for MarineLorD, so he might have to consider a retreat here. The fishing boats are pulled for repairs. And honestly, not a terrible fight there.
His welcome, though.
Yeah, that
Beastie
was
had to idle his fishing boats to keep his fleet alive, but MarineLorD lost a lot of combat ships here for negligible-ish eco damage.
Yeah, a lot of hurt ships now from MarineLorD, so if he wants to launch an effective offensive, he's going to have to heal these up, which takes quite a while. And Beastie, we saw this against Kiljardy. He's not afraid to send a couple demos really early on this big loop, so 2 options are available here. He goes for an attack and this flank comes in on the Hulks, or during an offensive play from MarineLorD, Beastie runs these into the fish and tries to get a sneaky kill. The trick with these is you can't reveal them. Fishing boats, docks have a ton of line of sight, so you have to hold these really in reserve, and you can see them track those on your mini-maps here, folks. Those 2 demos on the north could become a huge game changer.
Yeah, they have to sail a lot to hit MarineLorD here. Makes me feel like Beasty is targeting the fishing eco. If he needed these to fight in this engagement, he wouldn't be so far away. But now MarineLorD is pushing. You can see on the minimap little yellow dots converging on the fishing eco of MarineLorD. Beasty is looking for the snipe here. Scrolling up. Holding back at home. He's got more demos in queue. And here come the demos from Beasty. They do find the fishing boats. And they do take all of them out here. MarineLorD is going to call his forces off, but that is a lovely hit from Beasty. Kind of offsets that eco difference that was the result of the previous engagement hitting his own fish.
Yeah, and keep in mind, the villager count is always going to look better for MarineLorD. He's running regular vills, Order of the Dragon vills, more expensive, take longer to train, but are more effective. So you kind of expect about roughly, what, a 20%, 25% increase on the MarineLorD side, so he should be having roughly 20% more eco. And here we have Beasty on the defensive foot once again, Lidicor. Oh boy.
Demo ship count 5-3 in the favor of MarineLorD. He's diving in once again. 11 hogs for MarineLorD, only 8 for Beasty. But here come the demos from both sides here. A little flank from the south. That one gets taken out. Beasty's holding back his own demos here. Nice little snipes on the galleys here by Beasty. MarineLorD is down to just 3 galleys, but he's got a lot of demos to work with. Beasty is now pushing up. Another demo gets taken out. He's looking to jump the enemy fleet with the demos. He's pushing deep here, but MarineLorD was holding back the demos. Beasty, nice splits over here. His demos do get picked off, though. He's going to sail away from this one. Once again, a neck-and-neck battle on the seas, I feel.
Yeah, dancing with the devil there was Beasty. He pushed forward with Man the Sails, and then almost ate into, like, what, 5 demos there for MarineLorD. So MarineLorD cutting a close fight there. But Beasty on the back foot once again. The demos flanking on the left. The aeroship's going to be in position. One demo sneaks through.
Ooh,
does land a good,
connection.
solid hit.
On the other side, a couple of galleys go down to the demos as well. So once again, it's a back and forth. But when you look at the destroyed value, bottom left part of your screen, it is favoring MarineLorD a little here. Those recent demo hits really started to put a dent on Beast's fleet.
2 demos on this side now, so another flank potential this time on the hulks. Should the aeroships... So the play here is maybe from Beasty to try to get the aeroships from MarineLorD to go to the north side of the fight, kind of closer to the trade post. Maybe that's the play. I'm not exactly sure what his game plan is. Going
Beasty now
offensive here. Ooh.
committing to this. He's got 8 demos. He wants to finish this game here, I feel. MarineLorD's got 6 out there with 2 more in a queue. Galleys. Oh, Beasty might be caught here. MarineLorD looking to body block, and Beasty
Is it bait?
he is fleeing out of this, being pursued by the demos. Galleys have to
Is
be
this
sent
bait?
back, but here comes
Is
the
this
demos
bait? The
from
hulks are out of
Beasty.
position.
Oh my lord! Demos
Hulks,
from both
the demos from both
sides over
sides.
here. Both sides losing ships, but it feels like MarineLorD
Oh,
is
Beasty
the one
loses
keeping most
everything.
of his fleet intact. And Beasty does get repelled. Demos from both sides, and Beasty is the one getting pushed off water.
Wow. Wow,
What?
wow.
That was insane.
That
Players
might
trying
be
to
it.
bait each other into the demos and really just coming down to microsecond decisions between the two. Beasty's trying to reboom on water, but now his position is looking grim to say the least.
Yeah, as the ships sink to the bottom of the ocean, to the depths of Archipelago. Here we have it, the final stand from Beasty. Can he hold this attack from MarineLorD? If he's able to defend this, the hulks potentially getting sniped down. There's only 1 aeroship here. Several demos coming, flanking from the side. MarineLorD, his back is up against the wall, the neutral post there. Gonna be blocking him in. But what is there
Beasty's
for
got more
Beasty?
demos and no galleys for MarineLorD. MarineLorD's got no galleys. This is not over yet. Demos are now converging in here.
One.
Demo popping out for Beasty as well. But MarineLorD does get propelled on the water. Still no galleys for him. This demo does have a good connection here, but the ships do survive for MarineLorD.
Yeah, but he does have to back off, repair, lick those wounds, and regroup for his next major offensive. We'll see when and where this takes place. It looks like Beasty has kind of put together a slight economic lead. Something from MarineLorD didn't go great. He should
Ah.
have more Vills. There were the
Uh,
couple Vill picks, but he did trade fishing boats for fishing boats. So MarineLorD is
Yeah,
somehow down in Vills or somehow trade ships or fishing
no,
boats.
no, no. Eco damage is minimal. You can see that at the bottom left. I feel like that might have
Yeah.
just been DC idle time or
Idle.
something. Now,
Yeah.
Beasty's fleet is underwhelming. It's mostly demos. He's looking to jump this.
MarineLorD?
And that's a trade cog. That's a trade cog. Demos looking to connect. Unable to sink any
kill.
ships here for Beasty, though.
Yeah, this is interesting now. Beasty. It looks like MarineLorD just took some time to spam out a bunch of fishing boats.
What is Beasty up to?
Why do I hear more
He does
trade
some-
ships?
I don't know.
Is
What I'm
MarineLorD
thinking
seriously trading?
that must be a misclick. There is
No,
no
I just
way.
heard the sound again. Another one just got trained. Wild.
Double
Wild
misclick.
stuff.
For
And here we have
7
it.
food, 7 wood and 7 gold a turn. That makes no sense almost. Now MarineLorD is diving here. Beasty has 6 demos in queue. MarineLorD does have 5 galleys now, however. He has the hard counter to those demos. Beasty's looking to hold this one. He does have 6 Hulks. Once again, demo coming in to flank. MarineLorD doing a decent job sniping this out, but that's a beautiful demo flank bottom left of your screen. That's what Beasty was hoping for. Taking out all the fishing eco that MarineLorD has, and now this demo connecting at the very front.
No!
MarineLorD diving into the demos though.
Again.
Oh, it's a full reset on the water for Beasty once again. Just when you thought he's back in this game, his fleet once again sinks to the bottom of the oceans.
Yeah, he just didn't have his arrow ships out. And then the 4 demos come in from MarineLorD, and BC thought 2 on 2 would take out the entire fleet there of the demos from MarineLorD, but one of his demos got sniped before it could connect with the other demos from MarineLorD. And now, back against the wall, once again, Beasty defending under his docks. His fishing eco has already migrated to the right. There's no demos flanking at this stage. It's just whatever he can produce from the docks. The Hulk's sitting here in front of Beasty's base. Can he do it? The micro, it's just not there. Every ship goes down. Beasty down to like a 0 naval presence.
He's trying to get back with the demos, but this time around, MarineLorD does have the galleys here. Nice little connection here, sinks a Hulk, but it's just too little too late here for Beasty. He has basically no fleet left to work with, and these demos get instantly picked off by these galleys now.
Yeah, it's demos in a dream, and Beasty taps out. He calls it GG for MarineLorD, who takes the series. Liticor, what did we just witness?
Domination from MarineLorD all around. 5-1 finish here in the Masters of Realms. 2 years have passed since these two have last met in the Grand Finals, and MarineLorD was the one proven to be the winner of this. 5-1, very, very convincing series all around, but a super entertaining one, Winston. We've seen some insane naval engagements. We've seen some unorthodox civilization picks on maps like Four Lakes. And we've seen even a Sacred Site victory here. You go back to Hill and Dale. Really just a great all-around grand final over here.
Yeah, incredible grand finals. I have to credit Beasty for how well he played. I think a lot of these games were super close and could have gone one way or the other, but it seemed like, especially in the naval engagements, it felt like MarineLorD just was always one step ahead. He always had one more boat, always had slightly better micro. And in Master of Realms, it's really about being the master of every map. You have to be able on top, on point of every single element of your game. And it feels like MarineLorD, once again, we have to admit, he's just playing better. He's just good. It's just insane. Every game like this, it just looks so crisp. I think to that Roos game on Holy Island as well. Like, man, that was like nearly perfect. It felt like what mistakes, what flaws were there? Where do you exploit a weakness in that gameplay? It's impressive stuff.
Well, that's the thing, right? We call it Master of Realms, but I think really for MarineLorD, it's Master of Perfection. Incredible performance that we need to dissect here. In this tournament, Liticor, he only drops 3 games, improving on the previous impressive performance of only 7 games in total dropped in Elite Classic 2. God knows what we're going to see when we get to Red Bull Wallow. I mean, technically, he has a potential very easy way of improving upon that record. Is this just the year of MarineLorD?
I mean, 2 years.
This is just such a tough call to make.
When does it end?
Really, I think one of the remarkable things that MarineLorD was able to do in this series is take away maps that were very Beasty-sided across the tournament. You look at Archipelago, Beasty hasn't dropped a single game on that map in this tournament. And MarineLorD comes in, and he takes him out. And just as a side note here about his performance on this map, MarineLorD wasn't able to win Archipelago against someone like Vortex, for instance, who is one of the best water micro players out there. Beasty took out Lucifron in their respective series on that map. So I think one of the remarkable things is that in every single category, MarineLorD was able to take out maps from Beasty that were usually Beasty-sided across the tournament.
And, another thing to think about here, Winston, is MarineLorD. Breaker of the unbreakable here, right? Beasty has some impressive performances himself, right? When we look at the statistics, he hadn't dropped a single game of the Chinese. He had 2 wins, no losses. Then when we look across at the Mongols we saw earlier, 4 wins, 0 losses. Then finally, we just saw Order the Dragon, 2 wins, 0 losses. It seemed like MarineLorD was making a hell of a statement here. Not only am I the champion, but I am willing to break everyone else's records after Vortex ruined my potential clean streak yesterday.
Yeah, I think the crazy number here is the number 3. Winning a tournament that's GSL format.
Yep.
With only 3 game losses is an incredible performance and nothing short of masterful. And I think we have a lot to thank for MarineLorD for giving us these amazing shows. Honestly, it's really impressive stuff. And yeah, like just beating everyone on everything, right? Like that's what a winner does, right?
Yeah, I think he usually has this kind of rap as a guy who, I want to say, has his methodical style that he follows Lidicore, but maybe that's true. But to me, I think what we saw here as well was great reaction to every attempt Beasty tried. I think the only time, obviously the only time he got one in there was with the English, as if that almost every player is willing to admit is insanely overtuned right now.
Yeah, it's and that was an interesting game to look at, because one of the things I highlighted about that game is that it was a hard-fought victory. It wasn't a sweep either way. It was a great game from Beasty nonetheless, but MarineLorD definitely made him run for his money. And coming out of that game, one of the things that crossed my mind is whether, like, okay, this is a win for Beasty, but is this going to be enough in the remaining games? And I guess it wasn't. So, yeah, I think that was a great game from Beasty, but even that was on the tighter side of things. And especially if he doesn't have the Sacred Site countdown, maybe that game could have been turned around by MarineLorD even.
Absolutely. Folks, we are prepping an interview now. We just need to get everything lined up, our ducks in order, so we can get across to that. But, I wonder who's quivering in their boots now, right? Because we have to look forward. We have to think past this. Mentioned potentially the year of MarineLorD. So far, every S-tier tournament he's won. And also at this pace, he will be present in every S-tier final, Winston, considering the format for the upcoming World Law event.
Yeah, the direct invite to the grand finals of Red Bull World Low is certainly going to help guarantee that. But honestly, with how he's playing, I wouldn't even be surprised if that's a pretty decisive one as well, right? I'd be surprised if MarineLorD suddenly drops off a cliff and we don't see dominance from him in the coming tournaments. I know there's more games coming up, so I'd be shocked if anything happens to his peak performance at this stage. It's just incredible stuff.
Well, I think it's time we hear from the champ himself. I think we've actually got MarineLorD on the line ready to talk to us. Master of Realms, master, if you will. And there he is. There's the flag. You've got it all. MarineLorD, congrats on an insanely dominant tournament here. We've got to dissect this a little bit. 3 games dropped the entire tournament with a GSL format, with the length of some of these series. I feel like that's next to unrivaled in Age of Empires 4. Like, you must be on top of the world right now, because I checked this, and as it stands, you're going to be present in every single grand finals for an S-tier tournament in 2024. How does that feel?
I mean, the goal is to win everything, so final or not, I don't
Of
really care. I
course.
just want to win.
Yeah.
If I'm making it to the final and I lose, it's pretty sad. So I don't
love
know.
how
It feels like a good run, but obviously, like I am seed 1, so I have an easier run, like at the start, obviously. And then Vortex, Lucifron, and Beasty, I felt like they were all pretty good. So I felt like I could lose map to them for sure. And Vortex yesterday was very strong, I think.
Yeah, I think Vortex was probably the biggest surprise for a lot of people. It felt like at the beginning of the group stage, I thought Anatan was going to be the standout. I don't know if you had that same feeling. That was a shock result. But did you feel like Vortex was the biggest recovery story of the tournament?
Not really sure. Yeah, he played very bad against Anatan the first game. But I don't know. It's just one best of 5. Sometimes you just misdraft and you don't get what you want and you just die. But also, yeah, Another is pretty good, so it was like, yeah, this fact and the fact that my group and his group were pretty hard in the end. So I wasn't very surprised he lost to Another.
Did you feel confident about this tournament going into it? Because very different map pool, right? Like I want to kind of drill and figure out what map you found the funnest of the new ones as well. But when you were coming into this, especially with Lucifer and Vortex, who are renowned for this grinding mentality of going and going again, was there maybe a bigger worry here than with the Elite Classic too?
Not really. Like, uh, at the start, it was maybe a little bit stressful because like the map pool was very weird and the meta was shifting pretty much all the time. Even like this last week, the meta that is on water right now, I feel like it's more Vortex and Lucifer who play this way with a lot of Zemo ship. Before that, I was not doing as many. But otherwise, no. Like I just felt like I needed to obviously improve on water because it was a lot of water maps. So I just made sure I optimized my like I changed my group control. I changed my way to micro a bit, so I could rival with them or like be better than them. And after that, I don't really like. It's just normal maps. So outside of the water one, I didn't really have anything. Weird. Even Socotra, like it's maybe weird, but it's a fine map. No.
Does it feel? My feeling is it's a little bit like a better mountain clearing, right? I feel like there's almost
Yeah.
more options there. So improvement for Red Bull Wallalow follow up.
Yeah.
Speaking of Red Bull Wallalow, it's the cat in the room, besides your actual cat, that we kind of have to talk to a bit. A different format. I don't know if you've had that. I'm trying to think historically in your career if you've had that instant invite to the finals.
No.
I'd love to get your kind of opinions on it, your feelings on it, because I think it must be a very unique experience and position to find yourself in.
Yeah. I mean, it was a bit confusing because I talked with. I mean, no matter what, like if they do this way, I'm just gonna accept it, right? But at the start, they
course.
just told me, yeah, we're inviting you to the main event, and then they don't give me the format or anything. So I'm just waiting like everyone, and then I'm like, yeah, obviously they invite me, so it's gonna be at least top 4 or like top 8, and then it's announced and it's top 2. So I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, it's very weird.
Does that? I wonder if that's like polarizing in a different way, right? Because is there ever a concern? I know you don't want to admit it, but like a concern that you lose your edge because obviously there's other people going to be playing that format, and you might be on a long break per se. There might not be as much between the main event and the finals for you to practice in. Does that worry you a little bit that maybe these people by playing more might be able to get an edge?
Not really. I don't think so. I think I
Okay.
will just ask people like to play some money match or some stuff like that for good practice,
Mhm.
and it will be pretty much like a tournament, right? Just have to put some money in.
Okay, so I was expecting a return to multiverses or something, as we sometimes hear from you.
No.
No, hard on the grind. Are you hopeful for the future of Age of Empires?
I'm not sure. It really depends. Like we don't really know what's coming. We always know like one tournament at a time, so it's pretty hard to know. But for now, I like the game, right? So I just play and I try to win everything. And if I can, it's great. And I'm already in the next grand final, so obviously I'm at a pretty big advantage.
Well, the plan is working out so far, mate. Every single event, best tiers winning, possibly A tiers that we see along the way. Looking forward to seeing what you're able to do in the future. Anything you want to say to the fans? Anything you want to say to anyone who's watching, who's also wondering what's in the future?
I mean, thanks for supporting. Gonna stream a bit more since I don't have anything to play for with the Red Bull qualifier. And yeah, thanks for supporting, and thanks to my sponsors and my team, Gentlemates. And yeah, thanks to you guys.
Oh, thank you, MarineLorD. All right, I'll let you go celebrate. You've earned a little bit of relaxed time. Go chill out with the cat. I'm sure we'll see you again very soon.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Oh, one banner in the background. I'm just wondering what the second one's going to look like later this year. Boys, what? I mean, the confidence. I don't know how he gets out of that room with his head that big, Winston. Like, this man, he gets on a call. He's so suave and charismatic about it. I've just got it. It's easy. Next one,
Yeah.
next one, next one.
I think there's a bit of umbrella there as well, right? He does mention like the goal is to win, right? So obviously he's not just saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna win it," right? It's like, no, very honestly, like no, the goal is to win everything, right? And I think it just proves that he's got the muscle behind the fist, right? That can really land these punches in these big tournament games time and time again. It's consistently impressive.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? Like, it's one thing to confidently say this, another thing to back it up. And I think someone we always kind of love about him, Lidical, is even when he falls on his face, he walks in with the confidence that he's going to do it, right? Like, he hasn't sat here and went, we'll see what happens, right? He's instantly like, Red Bull Wallow, got it on lock.
Yeah, that's what you have to do when you're a pro player. You got to be locked in. You got to be ready to go for the next one, because one thing is sure, one of the prime candidates to challenge him for the Red Bull title is going to be Beasty, assuming that he's able to make it all the way to Spain for the LAN. He's going to have to go through the qualification process for that. But one thing is sure, one of the prime challengers for MarineLorD is going to be Beasty. So we could easily be seeing a rematch of this spectacular series later this year.
And wild to think how close at some points the competition was, Winston, not just in the top 8, but what we saw in the group stage. Some of those people making through that fell victim, like Vortex to Anatand. And yet there'll be a return of maps like Socotra. But in fairness, for these aspiring players, I think the big upside is there are some question marks. I think Volcanic Island is definitely a big one where we could potentially see some upsets when it comes to Red Bull.
Yeah, I think the Red Bull maps are very dynamic with what they offer, right? I think
Yep.
there's a lot of different ways this could go. So, as always, I think I just can't wait to see the games. We just had one great tournament, and we have more great tournaments to look forward to, and that's what I'm all about, man. That is what I am here for.
We do. I'm hyped up about this because, folks, if you have been living under a rock and not been paying attention, getting your dose of Age of Empires 4, although this event is about to come to an end, we will be back. That's right. July the 20th, we kick off the main event of the Red Bull Wallalol to see who is going to be heading on to a castle over in Spain to challenge the champion, the reigning unbeatable champion, MarineLorD himself. That will all be happening and kicking off July 20th. So definitely mark that in your calendars. If you enjoyed Socotra, that's going to be making a return. Is there anything in particular about the format, Litter, that's caught your attention for Red Bull Wallalol?
One thing that's going to be interesting to look at, KP, is the amount of second chances for players. It's a setup where you do have a chance to redeem yourself. It's not the classic group stage setup that you have. It's more of a, even at the early stages of the qualifier, I do believe it's more towards the double elimination style. And also, if you've taken a look at the handbook, right now the setup is that in this double elimination, if the two players who play in the grand finals have played against each other already, and the amount of sets they've won are tied after the second set, they have to play a third decider set. So, ironically, the grand finals might actually be doubled here based on those. That is, calling grand finals the match that picks the player facing off against MarineLorD.
I mean, that's perfect. You know what I just heard there, Winston? More Age of Empires 4. Is that not what everyone keeps asking for around here?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's all I gotta say.
Smug little look.
Mhm.